Yeah.
I don't get it. I mean, they're good when you get them, but I don't. But trying to book them is like, and it's the same. The person you talk to seems like they're just like working at home, like just sitting in their bedroom. Hey, how you? They don't even answer like Fox News. They're just like, hey, it's I can't even know what her name is. I'm like, hey, what's going on? I'd
Well, they
like to book.
probably are at home, aren't they?
I don't know. I'd like to book these people. Oh, that'll be fine. Oh no, they're not available.
What a joy.
It's it's unbelievable. 2 o'clock hits. You call it 2:01. No answer. It's closed.
Good morning, everybody.
Good
Hi,
morning.
Marie.
Oh,
I'm having problems on my set this morning.
oh no.
What's wrong with it?
Oh, I don't like everything got moved around yesterday. It's a long story. So I just, anyway, small.
Usually, like Downton Abbey behind you.
I moved.
From the great voice of the Great Lakes, this is Paul W. Smith on WJR with Kevin Dietz filling in for Paul.
Good morning on this Tuesday, December the 22nd. Happy holidays and thanks for stopping by WJR AM 760 where Detroit comes to talk. We're also live on Facebook and YouTube this morning, and the Roundtable is here. Maria Osborne, I see you're here. How are you? Good morning.
Kevin. Good morning, crew.
Everything going okay so far for you?
Oh, it's good, but it's early.
It is. It's very early. It's 5:38 a.m. and we are on duty. I see Rich Lazinski was invited back for another day. How are you, Rich?
Yes, to many's a surprise. I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well. I like your background today. We have is that Frosty or
Thank
just
you.
your own snowman version?
It's a sexy snowman.
It looks like a killer.
Whoa! Look at that. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, you see Rich's background has a snowman photo shoot of some sort. And Rich is bundled up in a coat, and you look cozy. Is it cold in your studio
It's
there?
a little chilly here. I don't. It could be my blood sugar level, or the vent that's just above me here. But one or the other.
I don't know. You at regular temperature is tough. I don't know if we can handle it overheated Rich Lazinski. And Dave Rieger is in for Ann. Dave, how are you?
I'm doing well. Just glad to see that Rich does not have any fireplaces by him, so he won't burn himself this morning.
Yes.
Oh, I learned my lesson the hard way yesterday.
Yeah, after sticking your hand in the fireplace, virtual fireplace yesterday, I should add. Today, you can stick your hand in that snowman's belly and cool that hand off. So did any of you guys get into this the aligning of the planets and the supposed Christmas star? The internet was lit up last night with photos as Jupiter and Saturn appeared so close together that it was a bright star. I raced out to look and saw nothing but murky clouds and miserable southeast Michigan blah.
It was too cloudy, right? I mean, we went outside, we couldn't see anything either, so it was just too cloudy here, right?
Yeah, it looked like mucky soup when I went out. My daughter's down in Florida, though, and they got a beautiful picture of it. They were down on the beach and had very clear skies. And I saw all around the country people were posting pictures. And so I don't know how often this particular one comes along, and it came along in the winter solstice, which was a nice coincidence according to NASA. But it's one of those things where something happens once every 800 years or so, and you race out and you're like, oh yeah, I live in southeast Michigan. I'm not going to see anything but clouds. It's
I knew
disappointing.
somebody down in Texas who got a really nice photo too.
Yeah. There were certain places where it was very clear, and I guess it was really quite nice to see for those who did. It's just that we'll have to just enjoy it on social media. And then Maria, I had some more bad news. Is reports come out that millions of packages are not going to arrive for Christmas. The pandemic has struck. It was odd. I happened to talk to my own postal carrier yesterday, and I said, how's it looking, And he said, geez, there's a lot of people who are out sick. It's not encouraging, He goes, everybody's working a lot of hours,
Right.
and everybody who can work has been called in. But they said nearly 19,000 workers have called in sick or are out because of COVID.
Oh my goodness!
And they're working long hours, and they're overworked, a lot of them. I don't know about your mail carrier, Kevin, but mine, whenever there's a postal story, I'll open the door when I see her on the porch. Hey, so what can you tell me about?
Right. I do that
I
too.
won't tell you, I promise. I just wanted to know. But she also said the same thing that you're saying.
Well, I had said that, hey, I saw a bunch of photos from various facilities where packages were just everywhere, and he said, he goes, it's not that bad really where he is, but he said that if you read the reports, it's pretty crazy in some places. So I started really looking up a lot of stories in different places, and there's some places where the packages are just stuck on the trucks because there's no room in the mail facilities. All the space on the floor is taken. They are just stacked and racked, and the odds of getting all of those packages out before Christmas are not good. They're talking about 3 million packages missing the mark, which is going to make some people unhappy.
Yep.
You're listening to the Paul W. Smith Show. It's Tuesday, December the 22nd. We'll be right back with much more, but first let's check traffic with Rich Lazinski.
This report is sponsored by Compassion International.
We're all feeling the weight of COVID-19, but for kids in poverty this Christmas, things are desperate. Bring joy to a child when you make your special year-end gift to Compassion International. Just text GIFT to 83393. That's GIFT to 83393.
WJR Traffic First is sponsored by Gordon Chevrolet. Gordon Chevrolet's December specials are fantastic. Real GM employee pricing for everyone. Inventory is slim, so don't wait. Open Christmas Eve till 3, back open Monday, and staying open late every night, including New Year's Eve. Ford Road just west of Merriman in Garden City, GordonChevrolet.com. Gordon Chevrolet, find new roads. We have an accident on I-75 southbound at Dixie Highway, blocking your right lane. In Detroit, the 2nd Avenue overpass above I-94 is closed through May next year. That's for bridge replacement. Traffic is being diverted onto Woodward. And construction continues along 9 Mile between Hoover and Beechwood for sewer reconstruction. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel, sponsored by Primetime Testing Laboratory. In need of testing, that automotive project, Primetime Testing Labs are the industry's best and complete automotive testing services. They guarantee on-time delivery, accurate result reporting, and are A2LA accredited. For your automotive project, get a free quote at primetimetestinglab.com. That's primetimetestinglab.com. Here's your forecast.
Cloudy out there this morning. After lunchtime, scattered snow showers expected to move through. We could see some rain mix in before they taper off into the evening hours. Middle to upper 30s this afternoon, 32 tonight. Sunshine mixing in with the clouds tomorrow, upper 30s. Partly sunny, upper 40s Wednesday. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ken Boone on News Talk 760 WJR.
It's 5:44 in the morning. Let's check in with Rush Limbaugh.
Okay, a bunch of liberal groups, including the ACLU, are accusing ICE of targeting immigration activists, not just illegal immigrants, because in over 20 cases, ICE arrested or fined the activists. And they complained the agency only found out about them because of their activism. Now, one of the offended activists told NPR, we're always at the marches and we're giving interviews without fear of what could happen to us. He says that ICE going against activists is a way to intimidate the whole community. Some groups are now suing ICE, claiming to be victims of this targeting. ICE says, no, we're not targeting activists. We're targeting everybody who violates immigration law, and they are subject to arrest and deportation. So let's summarize. Individuals enter America illegally. They form groups, join with others who entered America illegally, and then they decide to go public. They go on TV, radio, have their names splashed all over the drive-by media to advocate that others who broke the law get away with it. And finally, when ICE shows up to arrest them, they start whining and moaning to the media that they're being targeted. Not only do they want sympathy, they want to cash in with a lawsuit against the Americans who enforce our laws. If this weren't so brazenly asinine, it would be almost funny. But when it comes to arresting activists, I'm all for it. Put them all in jail and shut them up. Because frankly, I'm tired of hearing about them.
Rush Limbaugh, noon to 3 today, right here on WJR.
You know, being the planner that I am, you would have thought that these people may have predicted that there was going to be a delay with the Christmas stuff because of the coronavirus. Maybe they would have ordered a little early.
I thought the same thing, but I thought then I was being a little cruel
I mean,
to think that.
usually it's probably tough during normal times to get your stuff by Christmas.
Right,
So
right.
this just makes it even more
Yeah.
difficult.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
But things are pretty bad the way they're looking at especially right Allen Park, right, Kevin? Wasn't it Allen Park,
Yeah.
the one that has the big hold up? Yeah, with packages. It's bad.
Yeah, they were saying stuff that was supposed to get delivered like December 9th was still hanging around in some postal facilities.
Yeah.
So,
I've gotten everything. Has anyone else ordered it online? I've gotten everything.
I've gotten everything too that I've ordered. There was only one thing that did not come, which was the stupidest thing that didn't come, which was like some Sharpie markers that I ordered from like Amazon. like a package of Sharpie markers didn't come. That was it. Everything else has come. So
Go to Office Max and get those.
the Office Max by my house closed.
Oh, that's right.
you got to get some backup at the Dollar Tree.
Right.
It's just like the most ridiculous thing didn't show up with some Sharpie markers. It was ridiculous.
So you won't know who the presents belong to, Dave.
Mhm.
The ones that you won't be able to put the labels on them.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Well, that's right. That's right. I have to go get some of those. I need to go get some of those stickers that they have with those holiday stickers.
Right.
Poor sucker who's getting the Sharpie markers.
They were for me. They were just markers. They weren't a gift from anybody. They were just
Yeah, we didn't want to judge, Dave.
Right.
We didn't want to be gift judgers.
I'm about like giving everybody a
Did you guys get markers again this year from Dave?
Listen, I'm a
Yeah.
very.
This is the third year in a row. I got markers.
I'm Johnny Gift Card. Okay, gift card.
Oh,
Yeah.
you gotta do
I know.
better than that.
I know. It shows no imagination. I know.
Oh.
Now back to more Paul W. Smith on WJR. Once again substituting, here's Kevin Dietz.
Good morning. Good morning. The Roundtable is here. Rich Lazinski, Dave Rieger, and Marie Osborne. And we've just been talking a little bit through the break about holiday gifts. And
No, let's be honest. We've been harassing Dave.
Dave was sharing a wonderful
What
story.
else? What else is new?
A heartwarming story from Dave about how he
heartwarming holiday
gives
story.
markers to people.
He has ordered some Sharpies, and they have not arrived.
And it didn't come.
And
Oh,
so
no.
all his friends and family are worried sick that their special holiday gift of a Sharpie
Right. Exactly.
is lost in the mail. And what will they do?
Well, wait. Kevin, I remember a very, very funny story you told a couple of years ago when you were sitting in on Mitch Albom's show of something you bought your wife before you were married. Do you remember the story I'm referring to?
Oh, is this a
Has to do with driving
birthday
a
gift?
car.
Oh, yeah. This was the old radar detector. Even if I could
One
forget,
of my favorites.
even if I could forget Murray, my wife would never let me forget.
I can't imagine why.
I thought it was quite practical. She was driving a lot of miles through northern Michigan. I thought a radar detector would help her from getting tickets that are expensive. And,
Nothing says I love you like a radar detector.
Maybe a bowling ball bag. I don't know.
well, I got her Sharpies this year, so she should be fine.
The Sharpies, just to make it clear, were not a gift for anybody. I just needed some more Sharpies, and it was the one thing that did not show up. Everything else
You look pretty panicked about those Sharpies.
Everything else has showed up. Fine.
You could always go out and get a radar detector.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'll go pick up a pager while I go get the radar detector. Yeah.
We were having a little debate around the house here yesterday because there are like two gifts that have not arrived yet, and it's not looking good. And they were both kind of higher end gifts. We'll do a lot of stocking stuffer kind of gifts, like Sharpies or socks or something like that. And then we have some real gifts, Dave. But with the real gifts not arriving, I was like, well, just take a picture of them and wrap up the picture and say they'll be here in 3 to 5 days or whatever the post office gets them. But that is, I don't think that's going to do. I believe there's some replacement gifts that are being bought, and then the ones that come late are going to be returned.
Oh, wow.
So that seems like a lot of extra work to me, but I'm a guy and I buy radar detectors for gifts. So what do I know?
Well, this goes back to your story to yesterday where you said you have a backup gift, and Marie was like, "I always, I'm a mom. I've got backup gifts, so you should be fine, right? You got all your backup gifts for the ones that didn't show up."
I think you cut out photos. You get some scissors out and you cut out some pictures from the catalog, like when you used to make your parents' books, like you get them a hug for Christmas, or I'll clean my room, or one of those booklets.
No, the best thing as a parent is when the schools do the little Christmas shops, and the kids can go into the Christmas shops and buy something, and then they wrap it and give it to you. And the stuff they come home with, we've gotten silly putty. I got a little car one time, a little like a dump truck thing underneath, the car from one of the boys, or underneath the tree from one of the boys. Those are the best. The best.
Wow.
I like the when they come home with the projects they've been working on in art class, and they come home and they're like, "Oh, look, this is a turtle," and I'm like,
yeah.
Well, I like that the shell is inverted because I can use it as a cigar ashtray. Will that bother anybody if I just use this for a different purpose than intended?
I do remember when I celebrate Hanukkah, and what my parents used to do when we were little was we used to have 7 small gifts and 1 big gift, and they would always make us wait till the end, till the last night for the big gift. And I remember one year these were 2 giant gifts for my brother and I, and we were so anticipating to get these gifts until we got to the 8th night and found out what those gifts were, and they turned out to be like giant cork pin boards you could hang up and put notes on in your room. It was the worst ever 8th night gift ever that my parents ever gave us. It was ridiculous. So bad.
I've always admired my Jewish friends who could come up with 8 gifts, and again, and have that crescendo. Some of these moms and dads really, really do a great job with that. And I've always admired. I just have to worry about one night. Thank goodness.
Right. Yeah. Well, it was just, 7 little stocking stuffers or 7 little gifts, maybe some Sharpies or, crayons or whatever. And then it was just, but that year specifically, we remember my brother and I talk about that all the time as being the worst final night gift ever in the history of.
And let me just say, because my kids are all grown, they don't ever let you forget this.
That's correct.
How your kids, I know that one of them will bring up one of the crummy gifts we bought as parents during the next few days. I'm like, okay, thanks.
Yeah, I had 6 siblings, so there's 7 of us, and they're trying to do Christmas for everybody, and you're like. If you didn't quite get what you're expecting, you get a little older and you say, "Oh, I get it now. I understand."
Yes.
It's a little more difficult than you think to,
7 kids. Wow.
Provide all these gifts for people.
I remember my little nephew something that he had already had, and I'll never forget him opening it up. And he was 5 years old, and he looked at me and he said, "Well, this is disappointing."
Don't hold back.
Yeah.
or the homemade cards the kids make at school and then bring home, and it's like, Merry Christmas, you're my 11th favorite person or something.
Well, one of our kids always signs his name with his first and last name, which makes us laugh. Well, he'll say, love, Robert Osborne. Like, okay. If you put Rob, we would have known who it was.
One of our kids at a very young age signed off with "You rock," and still continues that on. So everybody in every card that goes through the house now is like "You
How
rock."
cute.
It's like,
How cute.
we have the "You rock" sign off. That's fun stuff. Fun stuff. All right, well, let's take a quick break here on the Paul W. Smith Show. We'll be back with more. And right now, let's check in with weather and traffic and Rich Lazinski.
This report is sponsored by Compassion International.
We're all feeling the weight of COVID-19, but for kids in poverty this Christmas, things are desperate. Bring joy to a child when you make your special year-end gift to Compassion International. Just text GIFT to 83393. That's GIFT to 83393.
WJR Traffic First is sponsored by Primetime Testing Laboratory. In need of testing, that automotive project, Primetime Testing Labs are the industry's best incomplete automotive testing services. They guarantee on-time delivery, accurate result reporting, and are A2LA accredited. For your automotive project, get a free quote at primetimetestinglab.com. That's primetimetestinglab.com. Still have that accident on I-75 southbound at Dixie Highway, blocking your right lane, and construction continues along 9 Mile between Hoover and Beechwood for sewer reconstruction. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel, sponsored by the Carpenters Labor Management Partnership Team. Make a career change today and join the skilled trades. The Carpenters LMPT contractors are looking for professional, hardworking individuals that want to build a career with great pay, full retirement, and family health care. Text JOB to 855-424-2562. That's JOB to 855-424-2562. Cloudy, it's 32 degrees. I'm Rich Luzinski, WJR News in 2 minutes.
See, in the case of my niece, she gets her birthday is on Christmas. So she gets a birthday, she gets Christmas. She's already had her Hanukkah gifts.
Well,
She gets Easter. So yeah,
Holy cow, that's great.
She's doing well for herself.
But then she's got a long stretch before she gets any love.
Right.
She's got to get all the way around 1.5 months.
Right. But then she also gets what my sister-in-law, she gives her a half birthday.
Yes.
Like sometime in June or July. And she does a half birthday because as she gets older and as we get back to normal, hopefully.
I'm gonna tell you a little something, Dave. Her half birthday is on June 25th. In case you're
June 25th. There you go.
There you go.
So
I'll back that Christmas baby up 6 months.
Right. So, but you get, they're. When she's in school and her birthday, not all her friends will be on break, so there won't be really like a party to have. So that's what they do. They do these half birthdays now.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that. I'm a December birthday, so I understand that. But I'm early. I'm the second, so I feel like it's far enough away. I have a nephew who's on Christmas Day, and it feels like kind of a ripoff, to split to share your birthday with Christmas.
Yeah, but then when Hanukkah falls during Christmas, like it did last year, then you get triple. So there you go.
Right.
Can work to your advantage. Yeah, that's true.
Right. Exactly.
Then a lot of. Do you guys remember when your parents would plan the big gift, but there'd be just some little thing that you got that just garnered all your attention, and
Yeah.
that'd be like one year I had this Evel Knievel motorcycle thing that jumped over things, and I just could not stop. Like I didn't even want to do any more Christmas. I was done. I was like, just have that. I don't want anything to do with that. I want to jump this Evel Knievel over things, and I did that for as long as that thing survived.
That sounds cool.
As we got.
That was cool. You could line up like your G.I. Joes or whatever you had and see how many you could get over. They'd land just like, are you guys old enough to remember Evel Knievel live TV jumps?
Yeah.
And,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you'd line up all your Matchbox cars and see how many you could jump with your little motorcycle.
As we got older, we started just getting one big gift for Hanukkah. Like one year it was we got like an Apple IIe computer for the family, and then one year we got like an Atari 2600.
I remember the 2600. That was
one year we got a VCR. If you remember the first VCRs, we had to have somebody come in and install it for us. we had to have a repairman come and install the VCR for us. And I remember the movie they brought to test the VCR to make sure it worked was the Karate Kid.
Oh, nice.
So that'll tell you how long ago that was. That was the movie that they brought to test the VCR to make sure, because they had to hook it up to our television.
Was it a top loading system? Like it popped open on the top? Or
I don't remember. It could have been. I don't remember. But yeah, I mean, the fact that we had to have somebody come to install a VCR is just crazy to me now.
Do you remember the Cube video game?
The GameCube?
Yeah, the GameCube.
Yes.
The
Yep.
GameCube.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big gift one year that just did not go over well and had to be replaced like almost the following year with something else, Nintendo.
Oh, really?
Whatever. Yeah, it just did not go over.
They didn't like the Cube, huh?
They didn't like the Cube. I don't know what it was.
I remember the first Xbox that I ever got had the ring, the red ring that made it not work, or that made it was like a bad sign. So I had to get rid of that, and then I've been PlayStation ever since.
It's something to do with the actual quality of the games that it plays and the detail. And I think Madden might have come out on something else around that time. It's like
there were so many different systems. There's Sega Genesis. There was, if you remember, there was Intellivision, which had like the pad that was in that was around the same time that the Atari 7800, I think, was the second to the 2600. There's been so many different gaming systems. Now it's just, it's either PlayStation, Xbox, or Nintendo. It's either the Switch or do you remember the Wii when it first came out? That was that was a big thing.
I actually remember as a little kid the family getting Pong.
Pong.
One little line on each side and a little blip moving back and forth, and
almost
like tennis. I'll have to pull that up. See if I can find Pong again.
A lot of people
we had was that Coleco football game. That was
ColecoVision. Yeah.
Oh, just that little red dot would go up and down, and you try and return it 80 yards.
I remember that. There was a lot of people like to go to the retro games. Like they sell like all the retro games in one big thing that you can hook up to your television nowadays.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't have the same. It just doesn't have the same. The thrill to me as far as with the the graphics and the sound and everything. I mean, it's cool for a little while, but then you get bored with it.
Right.
Atari was great, though. I loved Atari.
If you still have one of those Atari that's still in working order, that's worth some money.
Oh, really? I do, actually.
Some of those games, those cartridge games that they had.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Is that one of those tricks like Beanie Babies are worth a lot of money, but nobody ever sells one? My Beanie Babies were $5,000. Who are the buyers?
They had an article for like the worst Atari game ever. I think it was E.T. was like the worst, voted the worst game ever.
Right. Just a landfill filled with
exactly
game.
Right.
You mean the Cabbage Patch dolls aren't worth anything?
Well,
they made a comeback.
They say they are. I just don't know where all these buyers are. If you post that up on a Facebook Marketplace or something, I want to see what the real value is.
I think it all depends on if it's in like the box and it hasn't been opened. But usually, most people open their stuff. Like if you can find some of that original Star Wars stuff that was still in the box, it'd be worth something.
Yep. Absolutely. The original Kenner stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I still have my Easy Bake Oven.
Ooh.
That's good.
I do.
I wouldn't recommend
Christmas dinner in it.
You're making Christmas dinner with it?
Yeah.
It'll be ready at Easter.
Is your background the Evil Knievel? Is that what you had, Kevin? That's
yes.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Look at that.
Yeah. Is that current? Is that a new model?
They revamped it. You can get it, yeah.
I'm going to get it again.
From the great voice of the Great Lakes, this is Paul W. Smith on WJR with Kevin Dietz filling in for Paul.
Good morning on this Tuesday, December the 22nd. You're listening to WJR 760 AM, where Detroit comes to talk. The Roundtable is here. Rich Lazinski, Dave Rieger, Marie Osborne. We've been having a lot of fun talking mostly about Christmas, I guess, this morning, guys. We're talking in the break about the gifts of Christmas past or Hanukkah past, and some that stick out more than others, and some that people have actually saved over the years. I go up in the attic and I don't find too much as far as toys go from my childhood. There was a barn that was that made its way along the decades, a red barn that I'd play with as a kid that had horses and things, and that made it along. And there was a long red snake that was a stuffed animal that was that has become very gross over the years. It was that I would not let anyone play with. I have no idea why it's been saved, but it's I'm told that I dragged it around everywhere for about a year and a half of my life, and so it made it to my attic as an adult. Marie, any gifts from your childhood?
Yeah, I have an easy bake oven that I still have. In fact, if I dig it out, I'll have it tomorrow morning to show you guys. But yeah, I still have an easy bake oven. Love the easy bake oven. And
does it still work? Does it
well,
has the light that heats up?
You know what? I don't think we've had the nerve to plug it in. So, I had my mother one time was cleaning out her attic. This was, it wasn't too long ago, like 10 years ago. She has since passed away. And so she says, "Oh, I have something for you." And I'm thinking, wow, she's been cleaning out the attic. What could it be? And she hands me this box, and it's my very first hair dryer, which, look, it's been a few years, okay? And this thing was ancient. And so I decided I was going to plug it in, and I got a little shock. And so I learned not to plug in old stuff anymore.
Rich, I see if you're watching Facebook Live or YouTube, you'll notice Rich's backdrop has changed. What do you have? What do you have there, Rich?
This is your little Evel Knievel thing that you used to play with as a kid that you loved more than anything, and your parents got you something more expensive, and you just cast it aside, as I recall.
I think that is probably the most memorable gift I ever got as a kid. The Evel Knievel, you'd wind it up and let it go, and it would go up over a ramp, and you'd try and jump as many little tiny cars or whatever you could find to line up to see how far it would jump. And when Evel Knievel would come on TV with his big jumps in Las Vegas or whatever, it was must-see TV. So if he was going to jump, 19 campers, we had to beat the record at home. Although we did get in a little trouble, I believe we found that the Evel Knievel would really work well on the pool table. We had a pool table in our house, but it would leave some marks on the felt, which did not go over well. But you had to pick and choose. It was important to get those jumps in. Dave, any old toys or video games that stick out with you?
Yeah, you remember the old magnetic football game that they used to have, where you could have the plastic players and the foam football, and you turn on, and they would just all vibrate all around, and there would be no rhyme or reason to where they would go, but we thought it was the greatest thing ever. But you never could get the guy to score. He would run backwards, or it was just the most. It was the greatest gift probably when we were kids, but looking back on it, it was probably one of the dumbest things we ever played because it never really worked. But
all of a sudden, one would get loose, though, right? And it would just be, everything would be going the other way. And
exactly.
And then you would claim that you planned that. That was the play I called.
Exactly. There was no reason why they would go that way, but I bet they sold a ton of those back in the day.
That's great. That's great. Rich, anything stick out?
Oh my goodness. Anytime we got like a Nintendo, that was just awesome. And the best part was you had a week of vacation where you could just really familiarize yourself with that. I just remember playing Super Mario Brothers, and very warm memories of that with my siblings. And sometimes you'd have to take a turn if you got a game that wasn't 2-player, and they used to have games that were only 1 player, and you'd have to wait for your brother to get done with it, and if they had pancakes or something, the controller would be all sticky. And
you didn't have the might makes right rule in your household. You guys actually had
Oh,
turns.
yeah.
Do you remember the game Operation where you?
Oh,
you
yeah.
try
Yeah,
and
that's a
get
great
the,
one.
It's like the big red nose would go
Yep,
off.
yep, that's a good one.
Yeah, that was cool.
You had to have
Yep,
steady
that's-
hands for that one.
Yeah, my house was different. It was we had my brother and I it was Madden when Madden came out. The problem is you would get the my brother would like to throw the controller and the rage quit,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
we'd have to so those things were not they're not cheap. So he'd throw the controller and crack it against the wall. We have to go and buy another one. And that was a constant theme in our house was having to go and buy new controllers, because of the fact that he would always throw them and break them.
And
I
then
remember
it was anger management for him.
life lessons. I remember one year in our house, my husband bought for one of the two boys this inflatable, I want to say like a Zephyr. And so it had remote controls, and this thing you had to it filled with air, and so the Zephyr would fly around, and he had a little remote control. That thing followed me for 3 days. I mean, that was his thing, was to follow mom around with this Zephyr, and it was big. It was really big. It would follow me up the stairs into my bedroom. If I could get into the bathroom and shut the door, that was a good thing before it came in.
Oh, the humanity!
This went on for days. It was, a lot of fun.
So you'll be getting a drone this year for the holidays,
Well,
just to bring back
after
memories.
that, I told my husband, nothing anymore that can follow me. Whatever it is, it can't follow me.
I can't wait till you get back to the newsroom. There's going to be a Zephyr floating.
Floating over my desk.
Oh, this is going to be fun.
That's great. Good stuff, guys. I love it. Love it. You're listening to the Paul W. Smith Show. It's Tuesday, December the 22nd. We'll be right back with more. Right now, we're going to check traffic and weather with Rich Lazinski.
This report is sponsored by Compassion International.
We're all feeling the weight of COVID-19, but for kids in poverty this Christmas, things are desperate. Bring joy to a child when you make your special year-end gift to Compassion International. Just text GIFT to 83393. That's GIFT to 83393.
WJR Traffic First is sponsored by Chris Furniture. Chris Furniture wishes everyone a joyful holiday with family and friends. They're grateful to be celebrating the joys of Christmas, the birth of Jesus Christ. Chris Furniture wishes all a blessed, peaceful, and joyous holiday. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. That accident on I-75 southbound at Dixie Highway has cleared. In Detroit, the 2nd Avenue overpass over I-94 is closed through May of next year for bridge replacement. Traffic is being diverted onto Woodward Avenue, and construction continues along 9 Mile between Hoover and Beechwood. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel, sponsored by Gordon Chevrolet. Gordon Chevrolet's December specials are fantastic. Real GM employee pricing for everyone. Inventory is slim, so don't wait. Open Christmas Eve till 3. Back open Monday and staying open late every night, including New Year's Eve. Ford Road, just west of Merriman and Garden City. GordonChevrolet.com. Gordon Chevrolet. Find new roads. Here's your forecast.
Mostly cloudy skies today. Scattered snow showers later on this afternoon. We could see some rain mix in, mid-upper 30s. Snow and rain showers tapering to an end this evening. Cloudy overnight, 32. A little sunshine mixing in with the clouds tomorrow, upper 30s. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ken Boone on Newstalk 760 WJR.
For over 100 years, Absopure has remained committed to serving communities throughout Michigan, and now
I remember one year, my mom got me a red Corvette car that I absolutely loved, and my brother got light brights. If you remember light brights from back in the day,
yeah.
And so my mom was famous for, if we misbehaved or did not do what we said we were supposed to do, she would get us things and then let us play with them and then pack them up and return them. So that happened that year with that red Corvette car that to this day I still remember bringing up to her. She says that I did not. She says when I cleaned my room, I forgot to make my bed, which I contend was not true. But that car, she let me open it, play with it, and packed it up and returned it. So,
Oh, really? That's funny.
That was one of the things when we were little. My mom was famous for doing that. Or if she would go out of town and bring us back, because I have another brother too. If she would bring us back 3 different gifts, and we would fight over which gift would go to which person, she'd pack them all. She'd just take them all back and return them.
Yeah, there's some people are really good at returning stuff, and some people are not. And
my mom's great at returning stuff.
And then there's some stores that are great about taking stuff back, and others that are not. But
yeah,
I remember a story about somebody who some store had this great policy, like if you bring it back, we'll take it back, and no questions asked kind of thing. And they had taken back a coffee maker, like just like a Mr. Coffee maker or something, but it had been like, I don't know, 2-3 years old. Like it had been used for like 2 or 3 years, and then returned, and they just got a new one and brought it back. I can count on one hand the number of times I've been in that line to return something.
Yeah.
Even if it doesn't fit quite right.
That used to be Sam's Club. Sam's Club used to have just return it whenever. And like people would be like, they would buy a lawnmower at the start of the summer and then return it in the winter, just to buy a snow thrower, and same thing. Now they've gone to like the 90-day policy. But for a while there, they take anything back. And, people will, if people will take advantage of it if you offer it. So, but I'm with you. I don't like to go and return things. I don't like to have to answer the questions and the looks they give you for why you're returning things, especially if the item's been opened. I don't mind doing it if it's been if it's closed and I never used it or never opened it, which is why I like Amazon so much, because you never get any they never give you any problem. You just take it back and it's done.
Yeah, but what if you were returning something on Amazon a year later or something?
They put a date on it. Amazon lets you know this is how long you have to return this item. They let you know. Your next guest is ready to go, so here we go.
Sick with the flu. Now imagine family movie night that your daughter can't live without. Well, that's ruined. And don't forget your uncle's socially distanced cookout. Yeah, I think he burned the beef. See, that's why it's important to be at our strongest. Every year, millions of people in the U.S. get the flu. Especially now, no one has time to miss out on moments that matter. So get your flu shot. Find out more at getmyflushot.org. Brought to you by the AMA, CDC, and the Ad Council.
Now back to more Paul W. Smith on WJR. Once again substituting, here's Kevin Dietz.
Good morning. Attorney General Bill Barr was one of President Donald Trump's biggest supporters for a long time. Not so much anymore. It seems today the outgoing Attorney General is opposing the president on most fronts. Here to help us try and figure out what is going on in Washington is our friend Rachel Sutherland, Fox News Radio correspondent and WJR contributor. Rachel, welcome back to the show.
Hey, good morning, Kevin. Thanks for having me.
What is going on with William Barr these days?
Well, he's on his way out. In fact, tomorrow is his last day. He held a news conference yesterday really to talk about initially the announcement of charges against a third suspect in the Pan Am terrorist disaster over Scotland more than 30 years ago. He had worked on that case under President George H.W. Bush, so coming full circle there for him. But then he was asked about whether or not a special counsel should be appointed to look into Hunter Biden and the alleged tax fraud. He's under investigation by the IRS Criminal Division, and about whether or not there should be any kind of special counsel looking into the 2020 election. He said no on both fronts. He did say that he believes that there's fraud in every election, and including in this past November, but not the kind of widespread fraud that the president has been talking about. Now, there is a move afoot. We're hearing that we've heard this before, that Congressman Mo Brooks, the Republican, might raise an objection on January 6th. That's when there's a joint session of Congress to unseal the Electoral College vote. He could do that. The Senate doesn't seem as anxious to put up a fight, so it would take both chambers to work together on any kind of effort like that. So, but yeah, William Barr on his way out again. I think his last day is tomorrow. He doesn't. He says he has no intention. But keep in mind also his replacement is going to be Deputy Attorney General Jeffrey Rosen. Now he's stayed out of the spotlight pretty much, but we don't know exactly where he stands on issues of like appointing a special counsel.
Do you think much will happen between now and January 20th with the new AG?
You know, that's hard to really determine. Jeffrey Rosen has not really said a lot. He's been asked about it before in interviews and hasn't really said what he would do. So it's a little unclear. I mean, but now the inside of 4 weeks when he takes over and over Christmas and the holidays. So it's just really unclear as to whether or not he would do something like that, whether he would appoint a special counsel to investigate Hunter Biden. One thing that the outgoing Attorney General said is that he felt that the work that's going on with the IRS Criminal Division and otherwise with the prosecutors is enough, so that it stands on its own. As far as a special election prosecutor, that would be something different. And I don't know. It's just very unknown whether Jeffrey Rosen, in the small amount of time that he would have, whether he would do something like that.
When it comes to William Barr, was this a change of position on Hunter Biden, or was this just the first time he's answered the question?
I think it's one of the first times that he's spoken publicly about it, and he certainly kept the Hunter Biden investigation quiet during the election, and that's angered a lot of Trump supporters. But at the same time, the general belief is that during an election, you don't bring out things like this, especially if someone hasn't been, if there's been no resolution to a case, someone's under investigation. The FBI usually doesn't talk about it when someone's under investigation, which is why in 2016, James Comey took such heat for coming out in October and talking about Hillary Clinton's emails again. So that was part of the reason for the big upset on the part of Democrats in that case. In fact, that Hillary Clinton probably still blames James Comey for her loss in 2016. So William Barr did not speak about the Hunter Biden probe while he knew it was going on. In that case, Trump supporters have been very angry about that. But they cannot turn to William Barr, who is probably packing up his office as we speak, to do anything about it.
Yeah, you know, the Democrats had accused William Barr of just being so far in Trump's corner that they were questioning whether he was being ethical in his work. And now it seems that he's, opposing Donald Trump, all the way out the door. Do you think this is something William Barr is doing for his legacy or image, or do you think he's just calling them like he sees them and that's the way they happen to be falling?
Maybe a little both. I think he does try to, call the balls and strikes the way he sees them, and it upset Democrats during the Russia investigation, and then he felt like he mischaracterized Robert Mueller's work. At the same time, he also defended the president vehemently throughout his tenure as Attorney General. But his legacy, I don't know what kind of hopes Bill Barr has in the future. He's been Attorney General before. This is his second run at it. I don't think he has any political ambitions. It may be a matter of trying to restore some of his quote-unquote legacy because he knows that Democrats thought that he was behaving unethically at some points during the administration. But yeah, I can't get into his head about what he thinks. I can just watch his actions, and it looks like he is it's unclear whether he's leaving of his own accord. There was a resignation letter that looked like some people said it didn't look like he wrote it. I thought it sounded exactly like him, but I don't know if he's under pressure to write it or if this is something that was more of an amicable parting. But I don't know if it's amicable now after yesterday because he was so clear about not appointing any kind of special counsels in either, for the Hunter Biden situation or the election. But again, he's packing up his office. He's going home for the holidays. And I think now people are going to be turning to Jeffrey Rosen as the acting Attorney General to see what his decisions are. And again, he's been pretty opaque about it for quite some time. I mean, he's kept his nose down at the Justice Department. He doesn't have that much experience at the Justice Department, about a year and a half. Before that, I think he was in something like transportation. So it's not like he's a career Justice Department guy.
So is there a feeling that there will be a thorough investigation on a federal level into election fraud before the next presidential election 4 years from now? Or do...
Oh, yeah. Oh, I think that Republicans moving forward and Trump supporters will be calling for that. And there's already been one hearing before the Senate Judiciary Committee about election irregularities. That was just last week. And I do think that, that was the first really high-profile hearing into any kind of irregularities in 2020. And so just as we saw, the Russia probe in 2016, I'm expecting that we will see, maybe not something of that magnitude, but an investigation into what happened this year with the election. Yes.
Rich Sutherland, thanks for being on the show. Have a great holiday.
You too.
All right, we'll talk to you soon. You're listening to the Paul W. Smith Show. It's Tuesday, December 22nd. Right now, let's check traffic with Rich Lazinski.
This report is sponsored by the Exergen Temporal Scanner. These may be uncertain times, but what is certain is that every family needs a reliable thermometer. Protect your family with the Exergen Temporal Scanner, the only home thermometer used and recommended by hospitals, physicians, and clinics. Stay safe with Exergen.
WJR Traffic First is sponsored by Gordon Chevrolet. Gordon Chevrolet's December specials are fantastic. Real GM employee pricing for everyone. Inventory is slim, so don't wait. Open Christmas Eve till 3, back open Monday, and staying open late every night, including New Year's Eve. Ford Road just west of Merriman and Garden City. GordonChevrolet.com. Gordon Chevrolet, find new roads. In Detroit, the 2nd Avenue overpass above I-94 is closed through May of next year for bridge replacement. No accidents at this time, and construction continues along 9 Mile between Hoover and Beechwood. Now WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel. Cloudy, it's 37 degrees. I'm Rich Luzinski. WJR News in 2 minutes.
This is Chuck Bridenstine and Ken Calverley, the Inside Outside guys. Did you know the air in your home can be 10 times dirtier than the air outside? That's why we've partnered with Sharon's Heating and Air Conditioning and Amnesty Air Duct Cleaning and Insulation to give your family clean air for the holidays.
You could win an Amnesty Air Duct Cleaning, Disinfecting, and Aerosol, as well as a Remy Halo Home Furnace Air Purifier that is rated 99.9% effective at filtering COVID-19.
For official rules and to enter, visit WJR.com.
The need has always been there. The need for food, shelter, clothing, compassion. This year, it just happens to be greater. If you need help, please reach out.
Marie said that she'll talk to you at the 6:48 segment, Kev.
Oh, okay.
So.
Cool.
That'll take care of that for you.
She's going to get her news worked out ahead of time.
Right, exactly. She will come on and talk with you. So did you see that I saw a thing on television that Dr. Fauci gave Santa Claus the A-OK to go and deliver all the packages for Christmas? I think he also got.
Gave him the vaccine.
I think he got vaccinated too. But
yeah, Santa skipped the line.
I think Santa's safe to. Santa's safe to. Yeah.
Santa skipped the line.
Right, assuming that he got all the gifts that he needed to get to everybody, since there's a backup apparently.
Yeah, that's. I guess Santa's a frontline worker.
Do you ever go on that website that they always talk about to see where Santa is during the day?
We used to do that. Yeah, I remember that. Then there was there was a phone number you could call Santa, and then there's a service you could send letters to, and Santa would respond specifically to your letter.
I had to play Santa earlier this year to my niece. My brother called me and said, "Just play Santa." And then he called me with my niece on the phone, and my niece had to tell me what she wanted. And then she calls me Uncle Dee, and then I said at the end of the call, I said, "Well, make sure that you have a good present for Uncle Dee." And then I heard her turn before we hung up the phone and to her parents and say, "How does Santa know who Uncle Dee is?"
That's so cool.
And then the next time I saw her, she said, I said, I heard you talk to Santa. She goes, "Yeah, Santa sounded kind of a lot like you on the phone." So I don't know. She's going to be 5, but I don't know. I don't know how convincing I was when I played Santa on the phone.
My parents bought like a Santa suit many years ago, and so when they have holiday parties, they'll call around and try and convince one of us kids to dress up as Santa Claus and just mill around the party and see if anyone notices or not. And that's always kind of fun. And then my dad would go. He'd put the suit on and like Christmas Eve or whatever, and go like kind of wander through the yard where the littlest grandchildren were, and sort of like, oh, there's Santa Claus. You better get to bed, or you know. But,
This year,
that stuff's fun.
Yeah, this year, my niece has had 2 times where like they've had like these parades that people driving by with Santa and rain and different characters on like the fire truck came by one time from they live in Canton, and you could call and have Santa come to the house, and they all stood out on their lawn, and then this parade of Santas and whatever else came through the neighborhood, and they could wave to him and talk to him, and just socially distance, of course, and that seemed like it was pretty cool. Did you ever go to midnight mass?
Yeah, I've done that.
What's that like?
We actually used to kind of like to go to that because we would always open one gift on Christmas Eve, and then Santa would bring the rest the next morning, and so you'd stay up and open your gifts, and then you'd kind of be tired when you went to mass.
How long did that service last?
But then you had Christmas all day to yourself. So otherwise, you went to Christmas mass. So,
how long did the midnight mass go for?
Oh, hour and a half probably.
Are you kidding me? You're there at midnight for an hour and a half?
Probably, yeah. It's packed. Then they started doing one at 4, I think, and that made more sense. But it was crowded. This year was interesting. You had to have. I go to St. Hugo. You have to have tickets to go, and the main masses are sold out. Because they're only using every third pew or whatever it is.
Oh, really? So they're still allowing people to go.
Yeah, people can go, but it's social distance, so there's not nearly as much seating.
St. Hugo in the Hills, the one over there off is it Square Lake Road?
Updike, Updike and Hickory Grove. Sort of near Woodward and.
I think that I did I think when I was in college, we had like a. For some reason, I had to do something on St. Hugo of the Hills. It was a really nice place. I remember going there. Some type of architecture class or humanities or art or something like that.
It's a pretty cool place.
Yeah. See, so for us this year, for the High Holy Days, everything was Zoom. All the temples are all closed.
Yeah.
So everything was.
Well, they're all the masses are streamed. So
yeah,
you can watch them on TV, but people, people are still going as well. But it's it's limited. But they did mention, they said there's still tickets for the midnight mass. So maybe you're right. Maybe that's not the most desirable of times to go to mass. Mark Gardner says midnight mass was difficult. The service lasted at least an hour. Yeah, you were up late, but.
And then you had to get back up early the next morning because all your kids were like ready to open the gifts early, right? So.
But as a kid, you wanted all Christmas Day to yourself.
Right.
Otherwise, you got your gifts, then you had to get dressed and go to church and then come back. So.
Got it. Was Christmas Eve more important or bigger than Christmas Day? Because I know some people say that Christmas Eve is the more important or the bigger one as far as the getting together, and Christmas Day is a little bit more crazy because you're running around and doing all kinds of stuff.
When we were kids, my parents actually had a big party on Christmas Day night, and so Christmas Eve was quiet with the family, and then Christmas morning was Santa, and then there was a big party with just all kinds of relatives and friends and people.
Right.
So it was Christmas Day was that's a lot. It's a busy little holiday.
Yeah, I bet. This year's gonna be a lot less.
It'll be very quiet. Very quiet.
All right, your next guest is ready to go.
All right, great.
All right. What did you say? Okay, she's got to be done by 40.
40, okay.
And we're going to come back early so you can talk to her.
Okay.
Right.
bcbsm.com/prevent-flu. That's bcbsm.com/prevent-flu.
Now back to more Paul W. Smith on WJR. Once again substituting, here's Kevin Dietz.
Well, if you're wondering if people are traveling by air, they are. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday all saw over 1 million people move through TSA checkpoints, and that's the first time since March, with 3 straight days of million-plus screening. So people are moving around, and that makes people nervous about COVID spreading. And Governor Andrew Cuomo is worried about and was calling for a ban on UK flights, as British Air says they will test flyers, which is... people have been talking about how tough it is over in Europe. And join us to bring it all into perspective for us is our friend Tanya Powers, Fox News correspondent and WJR contributor. Tanya, welcome back to the show.
Hey, thank you. Good to be here.
So we're seeing a lot of people flying here domestically, but Governor Cuomo is worried about people flights in from the UK.
He is. He has already called for a federal ban on travel from Europe, coming especially into New York City. But, he says it doesn't, the reason he wants a federal ban is because even if you do something about flights to New York City, that doesn't mean, people can still bring it to Chicago or to Philadelphia or to DC or, to Phoenix or wherever. And, it can still, wander around the country that way as far as, spreading this variant of the virus. And he reiterates, over and over that this is how that New York City became an epicenter in the spring because the variant of the coronavirus, the variant from Asia was on, in California and Washington State in the early cases we saw there. The one that circulated from, around in New York City and the New Jersey area was European. And he makes the argument that, that was not something there was no, nothing done about that because at that point they didn't know where that strain had come from. Everybody assumed it was all the same one. So what he's saying is, to keep from making the same mistake that we made in the spring, he said he wants a federal ban on this, on the passengers from the UK. And he's not alone. I mean, there have been countries already that have already enacted travel bans on flights from the UK. Germany has actually gone so far now as to make that, not just like flights and things like that, but they have already said that they have banned travelers by rail, bus, and ship in addition to it. And Governor Cuomo is not the only governor that is asking for this. He has, by the way, also said that British Airlines, or British Airways, Delta and Virgin Atlantic have voluntarily agreed to test travelers from the UK for coronavirus before they leave for New York. And he says, that's something, but again, it doesn't solve the problem of them going to other cities or on different, a different airline and bringing it that way.
So for those who aren't really following what's going on in Europe, tell us a little bit about this variant strain and it's why it's, or how contagious it is, or how it's different from what we're seeing here.
From the numbers that we have gotten, the newest variant of the coronavirus that has been found in the UK is about 70% more transmissible. There's so far as there don't seem to be any numbers explaining whether it's more deadly. It is more transmissible though, which is, obviously something that as we're trying to curb our own spread here in the U.S., that is something that, people are concerned about anyway. Having a more transmissible strain is obviously a worry to a lot of folks, including, folks like Governor Cuomo. Jay Inslee has also said, he's the governor of Washington. He has also said that he wants, there to be some travel restrictions for people arriving from the UK there and South Africa, where that strain is circulating. He says he's ordering travelers from either of those nations to quarantine for 14 days. It will cover everybody who's come from those countries in the past few days as well. So it's a little bit retroactive, it seems. But, Governor Cuomo is not the only one saying, hey, we need to do something, at least watch or quarantine folks when they get here.
I know you have to go, but is it realistic that we could stop this variant from getting over here, or is it just a matter of time?
He says it may be here already. I mean, and like I said, what happened in the spring, it circulated for weeks and we didn't, nobody here knew that that's where it had come from or what was going on. Is it realistic? It's keeping a virus contained, as we've already seen it this year, seems impossible at this point. But hopefully hopefully something can be done.
All right, Tanya, thanks for coming on this morning. We appreciate the update.
Thank you.
Yeah, so if you're wondering what's next here in the United States, you might want to keep an eye on what's going on in Europe, and it's pretty frightening. The officials in Europe are taking this new variant strain extremely serious. You're going to be hearing a lot more about that for sure. Quick break. Let's check traffic with Rich Lazinski.
This report is sponsored by BetterHelp.com. Is there something interfering with your happiness or preventing you from achieving your goals? BetterHelp wants you to start living a happier life today with professional counseling done securely online. Visit BetterHelp.com/feelhappy and get 15% off your first month.
WJR Traffic First is also sponsored by Gordon Chevrolet. Gordon Chevrolet's December specials are fantastic. Real GM employee pricing for everyone. Inventory is slim, so don't wait. Open Christmas Eve till 3. Back open Monday and staying open late every night, including New Year's Eve. Ford Road just west of Merriman and Garden City. GordonChevrolet.com. Gordon Chevrolet. Find new roads. Look out for an accident on the left shoulder of the Dixie Highway ramp to I-75 southbound. And your right lane is closed on I-75 southbound between Verner Highway and Springwell Street. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel. Sponsored by Chris Furniture. Chris Furniture wishes everyone a joyful holiday with family and friends. They are grateful to be celebrating the joys of Christmas, the birth of Jesus Christ. Chris Furniture wishes all a blessed, peaceful, and joyous holiday. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Here's your forecast.
Scattered snow showers expected later on this afternoon and into this evening. We could see some rain mix in at times. Middle to upper 30s this afternoon, low 30s tonight. A little sunshine mixing over the clouds tomorrow, upper 30s. Milder Wednesday, partly sunny, upper 40s. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ken Boone on News Talk 760 WJR.
With all the giving you do during the holidays, wouldn't it be nice to experience something that gives back to you? Visit Lincoln of Troy and experience the feeling you get in a new Lincoln.
Healthy and give it.
So, Kevin, what's your take on this West Point and the cheating scandal?
I don't know. I guess I'm not wildly surprised. It's what they say, 50 or 70 people
70
cheating, or 50 admitted to it, and they think 70 cheated on this math test. Well, I guess West Point, the highest honor, their whole purpose is to to not cheat. So it's troubling. I don't know. I guess with the way COVID is and everybody home and different things, I'm not surprised that it would happen or could happen. I guess I'm glad they're checking. They have those. I would be afraid to cheat with today's technology. They can run everything through a program to see if it's similar to other people. How did they catch them? Did you see?
It says that instructors initially determined that 72 plebes or first-year cadets and 1 yearling or second-year cadet had cheated on a calculus final exam in May. Those cadets all made the same error on a portion of the exam.
Yeah.
It said that recently concluded investigations and preliminary hearings for the cadets resulted in 2 cases being dismissed for lack of evidence and 4 dropped because of the cadets resigned. Of the remaining 67 cases, 55 cadets were found in violation of the honor code and enrolled in a program for rehabilitation on December 9th.
Do you know does it say how many people go to West Point?
No, it just says this is the biggest scandal they've had since there was a scandal, I guess, in 1976.
What kind of test was it?
It was a calculus test. It says here one of the biggest cheating scandals amongst in 1976, 153 cadets at West Point resigned or were expelled for cheating on an electrical engineering exam.
I guess my take on it is that there's a lot bigger scandals in the world going on than cheating on a math test, but maybe I'm just looking at it wrong.
Apparently, there's been a couple of these. 1992, there was a Naval Academy, a cheating scandal. Air Force Academy in 92. Pretty interesting.
Yeah.
All right, here we come. You can talk to Marie here, okay?
Now back to more Paul W. Smith on WJR. Once again substituting, here's Kevin Dietz.
Well, we were talking a little bit in the break about the West Point cheating scandal, and I wanted to bring Marie Osborne on to talk a little bit about that and other things. Marie, how are you?
Hey, we're all doing great.
Yeah, so we've talked so many times about, with COVID and the concerns about our kids' education and are they getting the education they deserve, this at-home learning and the drop-off. We've had guests on who have talked about gaps growing for kids, trying to learn to read and write, and everyone's, doing as best they can, but there's problems that exist with trying to learn from home. And now this West Point story sort of brings up another issue, which I hadn't talked about yet before, but just the whole idea of the ability for kids to cheat while doing their work from home. Are they even doing their own work? And this West Point story sort of crystallizes that. I'm not sure if this is exactly right, but I believe I read that 70 students were accused and 50 admitted to it. It was some sort of calculus test where kids had this same error.
On the same question, they all made the same mistake.
Yeah, and I was thinking back to my own high school days. I don't remember anything like that ever happening in college, but I remember I remember in high school there was a teacher who gave the same test in the morning that they gave in the afternoon, and kids would try and remember questions that were on the morning test and share them for the kids who had the afternoon test. But and I don't think it was a massive scandal, but I remember a couple kids getting caught and flunking the class. But this jumped out as a major headline and a major scandal. I was just curious on your thoughts on the West Point situation and really just the at-home schooling and the concerns with trying to educate your kids from home.
Well, the whole thing with West Point, what's so shocking is that they have such a strict honor code there. I don't have the exact verbiage, but there is a code of ethics that they maintain there, that they're sworn to, and you can't break this code of honor. And, in other words, you will not lie or cheat or steal. I think that's what it is. And you won't tolerate anybody who does. And they're very, very strict on that. Obviously, West Point, is the pinnacle really of our military. And so it's so important there. So it's just so shocking that 70 of them were involved in this. And as far as kids work, the schooling at home, I don't have kids at home, but I have so many nieces and nephews who have their kids at home, and they're just struggling to get through this pandemic by doing that. I have actually heard some educators say and question whether or not this last year, and maybe this year as well, this year, just call it a wash. Like, don't give grades out. Don't count this year because of all the issues. If you can just hold your child in a holding pattern for this year until things can get back to in-class learning, that's the best we can hope for, because no progress can be made in so many people's view of working from home for the kids. There's just no progress is going to be made, no learning.
Yeah, when it comes to the West Point, I guess I'm really glad there are places that take a code of honor very seriously. We definitely need more honorable people in this world than less. So I guess from that perspective, I'm glad to see that that exists and that people will be held accountable. I guess in this case, probably it was a teacher or a computer who caught on that the cheating was going on. It would have been maybe nice to see if students had heard about it and turned in other students because of the honor code or whatnot. But that's interesting that's there. When it comes to the education at home, I try and think about what year would be okay to have your kid have a COVID learn from home year. And I don't know what the right year is.
It is tough.
If you're, you could say, fifth grade. Well, fifth grade, you're learning things that are just so important to, to the next thing you learn, and I have one child left in school and they're a senior in college. And it seems like a terrible year to be home. I mean, they're missing out on their ability to talk to counselors about, finding a job, about, graduating, about the junior class is trying to, needs to figure out what classes they need to graduate on time and to get the right major and minor that they're trying to get to. And the places are pretty much shut down. There's not a lot going on there, and it's difficult. I don't know, unless you just have everyone have a do-over and everyone goes to school an extra year, which they're not going to do. They're going to move everybody. They're going to move everybody along, and
Right.
It's just it's a little scary.
A lot of makeup work, I think. And also, don't forget there are a lot of kids who, either learn differently or maybe have some sort of learning challenge. Okay. Uh, those children in these circumstances are really suffering mightily. And so are their parents trying to make sure that their kids are keeping up the way they should be. There's kids who really get a lot of help while they're in the classroom, and rightfully so, they should get it. So what are they doing in the middle of all this? This has been a very, I mean, put aside the students who, learn well and do well and are going to be great. I mean, there's a lot of kids who just don't fall into that category, and they're really, really going to suffer during this.
And technology is new for a lot of them and for their parents. And,
Oh,
and
for their
technology is hard
parents,
technology is hard for all of us. I mean, you can come home and you can say, "Hey, did you do your homework?" But if they say, "Oh, no, can you help me with this?" and you're like, "I don't think I can," and then there's issues of people who don't even have access to computers and laptops, which is really, really troubling. We had a guest on recently who works in literacy, and they're just saying that it's so important. They have so many more kids raising their hand saying they want to learn to read, and they just don't have enough people to teach them because people
Right.
are worried about COVID right now.
Right.
It's just very, very difficult.
And I have a friend, I have several friends who are educators, and a couple of them have told me that so they've had to do online learning, and they've talked about how some students will go to class, okay, virtually, while still in their pajamas in bed. And the teachers are very worried about that, and are trying to impress upon the parents, no, your students should be up and dressed and their teeth brushed and they're had their breakfast and sitting someplace, maybe the living room sofa even or a coffee table, but they need to be sitting somewhere upright in order to face class. And these teachers are telling me some kids, like I said, show up with, they're in bed, they're in their pajamas, they just drag themselves over to the computer. You can't learn like that.
Yeah, there's even when you're at school, there's teachers who teach at you, and then there's teachers who teach with you. They sort of teach in a circle, and you kind of learn from the teacher. The teacher learns from the students, and the students learn from each other. And that education is great. But if someone is just reading to you or teaching at you and saying, learn this, memorize this, and I feel like that's what people are getting at home. I can't picture the collaboration that you would get from being in class versus trying to do that on your computer screen at home. And from the little bit I'm seeing, I just don't think it's the same. I don't think it's even close.
And there's always been talk about, we can just forego snow days because we can just do things online. And before all this happened, there was a lot of, we could just do that online. We could just do, and I think now we've learned there's a lot we just can't do virtually or online, that you really have to be in person in order to do. In terms of education, you just got to be there.
And circling back around to the West Point cheating scandal, the temptation kids must have at home to cheat and to, I got to imagine it feels different to go and turn in a paper or, a quiz that that you cheated on versus like just hitting a button and submitting it. It seems like to hit a button and submit it would be easier than actually, to turn it in. And then the ability, yeah, right, exactly. And then the ability to be able to cheat or lift other people's work from home would be obviously much, much easier.
Right. Well, this cheating scandal is still not over. They're still investigating. I think there's 50 cadets who admitted to the cheating, but there's some that are still under, 55 admitted to the cheating. And then there's still some that are, going through an investigation and so on. So this is not over. It just seemed really shocking that this would happen at West Point. So if it's happening there, the logic would be it's probably happening at a school near you, right?
I guess even at West Point, you need a reminder of your code of honor, maybe all schools should send a copy of their mission statement home to their kids and their parents, so that everybody stays in line as best they can. All right, Marie, I appreciate it. Thanks for the info, and we will talk to you in a little bit. You are listening to the Paul W. Smith Show on this Tuesday, December the 22nd. Thanks for listening to us. Coming up right now, we're going to check in with Rich Lazinski in traffic.
This report is sponsored by Compassion International.
We're all feeling the weight of COVID-19, but for kids in poverty this Christmas, things are desperate. Bring joy to a child when you make your special year-end gift to Compassion International. Just text GIFT to 83393. That's GIFT to 83393.
WJR Traffic First is sponsored by the Construction Association of Michigan. CAM has been helping commercial and industrial contractors and suppliers grow since 1885, and now is the time to join. Join the most powerful network of construction professionals in the state, the Construction Association of Michigan. Join today and get listed in the 2021 Construction Buyer's Guide. Learn more at buildwithcam.com. That's buildwithcam.com. An accident on the left shoulder of the Dixie Highway ramp to I-75 southbound has cleared, and your right lane is closed on I-75 southbound between Verner Highway and Springwell Street. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel. Cloudy, it's 37 degrees. I'm Rich Luzinski. WJR News in 2 minutes.
I was getting ready to go out for the evening, and my 6-year-old daughter joined me. She loves dressing up in my jewelry. She held up my Patek Philippe 24 watch. The diamonds sparkled in the light of the dressing table.
Steve Courtney's checked in. We're just waiting for a coach.
Very good. What happened with the Lions special teams coach?
He got fired.
Yeah, I saw that. Do you think it was because he called the play, or do you think
That's what they're saying?
Getting fired anyway.
That's what they're saying. They're saying it was because he called that play without consulting the Coach Bevel.
And so was it what quarter? Do you remember what quarter it was in? It was like on the 39
It was
yard line.
it was early. It was early in the game, if I remember correctly.
The game wasn't out of control. At that
No, it was early, if I remember correctly, but it didn't work.
Yeah, no, apparently it didn't work.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can't. But it didn't come out in the post game that the head coach wasn't aware of it. Right?
Yeah, I don't. That's what I think. That's what I think is
that's
going.
what I read.
Yeah, I think that's what they think. I don't know.
Well, no, I think I read like when they were asking about the call, he kind of said, the coach Bevel kind of said, well, we have some really good players in that position, and obviously we thought that would work or something like that. Then it came out later that he had no idea that it was
Right, exactly. I mean,
you got to stand by your guys.
It's one of those things where you're a hero if it works, and if it doesn't work, you're in some trouble. And sometimes if it does work, you're a hero and you're in trouble. So those kind of plays always you're going to look great or you're going to look horrible depending on how it turns out.
Right.
If it's not a situation where it has to be it has to be taken care of. So, but Brian and I were talking, and we were talking about certain things that we've done during this the pandemic that we normally wouldn't have time to do. He said he's working on a model. I said that I have been working on some puzzles, which I like doing, but I never had time to do. But now I've had some time.
Puzzles, yeah.
What about you? What have you been doing that you normally wouldn't have time to do that maybe you've picked up during this pandemic?
I've been doing radio shows. That normally I would not have done. I have not done much. My kids and my wife have puzzles going all the time, though. I don't have the patience for puzzles. I just don't. but they've now gone from I don't know what the right number would be, but say 500 pieces to 2,000 pieces. These elaborate, massive puzzles. I mean, it's amazing. I can't imagine. I just don't have the patience for it. But it's very cool for sure.
Yeah, I did a couple of puzzles that were 1,000 pieces, and and then I went and I got some glue, some puzzle glue, and I glued them together. And then I framed them, and they turned out pretty good. I was pretty impressed with myself. I was like, "Wow,
Yeah.
this actually worked." Like I literally went to YouTube and watched how to do it, and it worked. I was surprised. I was like, "Wow, actually it worked." The magic of YouTube.
Yeah, that I was sharing that with someone the other day. Someone called and asked how to get stain out of couch, and I'm like, YouTube.
Yeah, my mom's garbage disposer was making this awful noise, and then it just stopped working, and you would hear it. You turn it on with just a hum, and something got caught down there, and I was like, what were you doing around the sink? What could it have been? Well, it turns out that she was taking the candle holders out of the menorah and cleaning out the wax.
Oh.
Well, at the bottom of the candle holders were these little screws, and I think one of the little screws might have came out and dropped into the garbage disposer. So I'm thinking, all right, how am I? I'm looking with a flashlight, and I'm thinking, how am I going to get this fixed? So I go to YouTube, and sure enough, there is a quarter nut hex screw that's on the bottom of the garbage disposer, which you can take an Allen wrench and put in there and turn to get the thing moving again. And I heard something drop that sounded like a little screw. Then when I went to turn it on again, sure enough, boom, 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 I heard the thing. And then it was moving. I stopped it, and then I found the screw. Pair of needle nose pliers, picked it up. This little screw causing all that trouble. Wow. But if it wasn't for YouTube, I don't know if I would have. I mean, I taken apart the whole thing, and that's a big
used
pain.
to just call Glenn and say, "Glenn, I got this.
Right.
What's going on?"
Right.
You got to YouTube it.
But it worked out like perfect, like exactly how the video said. Put it in, turn it, and it dislodged it. It was incredible.
That's so bad. I rented a car one time, and the top was down. It was in Florida. The top was down, and I got to my destination. I could not figure out how to put the top up on this car.
Oh, really?
And I just couldn't find the button. I'm looking everywhere. Finally, I just went to YouTube, and it's like this little. And I had to wait like 3 minutes as this person, did this whole sort of. And then they're like, and the button is here.
Right.
Like, okay, there's the button. That's that's kind of embarrassing, but it's so great that you
I
can
know.
find it. Otherwise, you're calling
It
the
is.
dealership or something,
Right.
or whatever.
It is amazing how much stuff is on YouTube. I mean, anything you want to find to fix anything or to try to get information, you can watch a tutorial.
They said more stuff is loaded in one day than you could watch in a lifetime if you watched around the clock,
Yeah.
24 hours a day. That much content is loaded in one day.
I
don't
read
really
a
know how
story-
to use it.
Yeah.
YouTube. I don't use it that much, except for like you're describing it. If there's something
Right.
I don't know how to do, I go find it. But
You know what the highest ranked video on YouTube is? It just changed this year. Like in October, there is a new video that it's got the most downloads, the most viewed video file ever in the history of YouTube. And do you know what that was?
I can't even guess.
It was Baby Shark.
Oh, really? Okay. All right.
Baby
I believe
Shark.
that.
And not only that, Baby Shark also had the most likes and the most dislikes in the history of YouTube also.
That's the secret. Love 'em or hate 'em.
All from that one little baby song, Baby Shark.
Wow. Yeah, I remember the pro baseball players doing that, and I mean that thing really took off. I didn't have little kids, so I sort of missed it, but but you couldn't miss it even if you tried to miss it. So
Right.
So,
Well, we're still waiting for Coach, but you do have Steve there, so you can talk with Steve if you need to get
All right.
if Coach hasn't called in though yet.
okay.
So and then remember we got startup at 7:11, or 7:12.
All right.
All right, so we're coming back in a second here.
The need has always been there. The need for food, shelter, clothing, compassion. This year it just happens to be greater. If you need help, please reach out. If you can give help, please reach within. In a year with fewer red kettles, your $25 monthly donation to the Salvation Army of Metro Detroit helps rescue Christmas for the most vulnerable. Enlist in Love's Army at selmish.org. Again, that's selmish.org.
He flew fighter jets in 2 wars and taught you how to drive a car. Fed everyone on the block, but never shared his secret recipes. And every time he'd tell a story, he'd own the room. But now more than ever, he may feel alone. Today, older adults and their loved ones are struggling to connect in a time when connection has never been more important. But there is something we can do. Embrace our older loved ones through StoryCorps Connect. With StoryCorps Connect, you can honor seniors remotely with an interview about their life. Every interview will be archived at the Library of Congress, becoming part of American history, so that years from now, future generations can listen in.
All right, Grandpa, what's one piece of advice you have for me?
Just 3 words, sweetheart. Live with courage. The man that had the best stories still has plenty of stories to tell. So connect virtually and share the conversation of a lifetime at storycorpsconnect.org/AARP. Connect, honor, share. StoryCorps Connect. A message from AARP, StoryCorps, and the Ad Council.
From the great voice of the Great Lakes, this is Paul W. Smith on WJR with Kevin Dietz filling in for Paul.
Good morning on this Tuesday, December 22nd. It is 7:07 a.m. Happy holidays, and thanks for stopping by WJR AM 760, where Detroit comes to talk. We're also live on Facebook and YouTube. Well, we all know that Santa Claus is coming to town, but perhaps more importantly, so is Tom Brady. He's coming this Saturday to Ford Field, where the Bucs will take on the Lions. And here to talk about it is our friend Steve Courtney. Steve, how are you this morning? Steve? Well, we thought Steve was there. We're looking this week. The Lions are taking on the Bucs. There you are. Can you hear us, Steve?
Okay, I can hear you now, Kev.
All right, buddy. We're talking about Tom Brady coming to town.
Yeah, Tom Brady, huh? 43 years of age, and every time you get to the point there, Kev, where you're saying, the guy's lost it. He's not the same. He says he'd like to play a few more years, and you write him off. He has great performance after great performance. Let's take a look at the numbers, shall we? He's thrown for 3,886 yards. He's throwing at a 65% clip, 32 touchdowns to go along with 11 picks. Now, remember when Tom Brady took his talents to Tampa Bay and they started surrounding him with some tools, you're thinking, boy, the Buccaneers are putting themselves in a great situation. Well, right now, they are a 9-5 ball club. Interesting, when you talk about the tools that Tom Brady has at his disposal, running back Ronald Jones, he's going to eclipse 1,000 yards this year. Leonard Fournette out of LSU, he's only run for 320 yards, average, though, of 3.9. Then you take a look at what Tampa will bring to Ford Field as far as the wide receivers go. As far as Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and that guy, Rob Gronkowski. Not to mention, well, there's going to the cardboard cutouts at Ford Field will have a reaction or so to the return of Ndamukong Suh, who had some pretty darn good years here as a Detroit Lion. And not to mention another crafty veteran up front defensively, Jason Pierre-Paul. So, Bruce Arians, the fine head coach of the Bucs, got himself a little something going on. And we'll see. The Lions, meanwhile, they are a 5-9 ball club. And quite frankly, at this point, Kev, they're just kind of playing out the schedule.
Yeah, if there were no COVID, my eye would be right on this game, because I would love to go see Gronk and Tom Brady play in person. And the Lions now eliminated, I would feel like tickets would be available. This would have been the perfect storm for me, but the other storm, the COVID storm, is still going to keep me from getting to the game. How do the Lions gear up to play for this thing? I know a lot of fans at this point say, hey, let's go for the draft pick, but the players aren't doing that. The players want to beat Tom Brady and the Buccaneers.
No, and that's a valid point, Kev. I've said it a billion times. NFL players do not care where they draft. They are there to win games, period. That's all. You think the New York football Jets were thinking about Trevor Lawrence when they go out to the City of Angels and knock off the Rams so they avoid going 0-16? They don't care where they draft. So you want to win ball games, and the Lions are certainly no exception. They've got 2 games left, and they would love to finish 7-9. We'll see what transpires. Obviously, I'm sure you heard there was a little bit of drama in the fourth quarter of the loss to the Tennessee Titans. Lions looking at a 4th and 4 from their 31. Interim head coach Darrell Bevell, who we hope to have contact with in the not-too-distant future, wanted to punt. Meanwhile, Braden Coombs, the up-and-coming rising coaching star, special teams coordinator, went rogue, called a fake. C.J. Moore did not get the line to gain, and all heck broke loose. For every action, there was a reaction. Darrell Bevell went to the powers that be and said, we need to make a change. Braden Coombs was dismissed yesterday. So there you have it. Now, was this an isolated incident? Was this one action by Braden Coombs responsible for his demise? Coach Darrell Bevell wouldn't elaborate on that. But we know the change was made. Meanwhile, good news to pass along. Center Frank Ragnow, one of the best in the league. Tight end TJ Hawkinson, former first-round pick. First-year punter Jack Fox, all going to the Pro Bowl. And that's fantastic. Hopefully, Frank Ragnow will be able to tell us how happy he is soon, but he's got that throat thing going on, for crying out loud. And we shall see. Kind of bummed out. Taylor Decker, Lions left tackle, having a year, man, grading out very, very well, did not make it. So there you go. Always leave with good news, Kev. That's what I say.
Right. And Matt Stafford toughed it out last week. We'll see him, you think, against Brady?
Well, you know, we'll see. And I'm interested to talk to interim coach Bevell because he was the one that noticed that number 9 just wasn't right. Took a couple of hits at the end of the Titans loss. And I think Bev took it upon himself to remove 9. So you know how Matthew is, Kev. As he said after the game when he was asked, why would you put yourself in a situation in a rather meaningless game? You know, you've got the rib thing going on. You've got the thumb thing going on. Been around 12 years, and his reply was quite candid and to the point. I am the quarterback of the Detroit Lions. If my arse can be out there playing, I'm going to be with the guys. And that's that. So, listen, if he's able to go, you know as well as anybody, number 9 will be out there.
All right, Steve Courtney, we appreciate it. Happy holidays.
Yeah, happy holidays to you and yours, Kev. Thank you.
All right, let's jump to WJR's Business Beat. Here's Jeff Sloan, founder and CEO of Startup Nation, to spotlight the entrepreneurial tech and startup community right here on WJR.
Let's go to our WJR Business Beat with Jeff Sloan, founder and CEO of Startup Nation, spotlighting the entrepreneurial tech and startup community on WJR. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning, holiday shoppers. Yes, that's right. It's holiday shopping season. Of course, this year will be different from most. Many of us will be doing most, if not all, of our shopping online this year. Nearly 42% of us say we're going all online with our holiday shopping. However, before you hit that buy button online, think about this. Your local merchants, stores in your communities, those that support the Little League teams your kids play on with their sponsorships, those that employ people in your community, those merchants whose proprietors' kids go to school with your kids, those who, when you spend $100 with them, $68 stays in your local community to improve schools and parks and beautify your town, and those who offer a shopping experience, not just an opportunity to buy something, need your purchases this holiday season like never before. Remember this. Local merchants have responded to our public health needs and consumers' new demands by launching innovative omni-channel approaches to selling to you, fulfilling orders, and accepting payments from you. Merchants are embracing contactless payments in store, e-commerce offerings, and other methods as they work to adapt to the current challenges they now face. And new platforms are emerging all the time. We can even buy from our local merchants online with platforms like Shop Main Street, where you can shop your favorite local merchants virtually. That's right, buy from them online, just as you can from the big name online platforms. The shopyourmainstreet.com platform has just been released in Oakland County and is growing. For example, check out the local stores coming online in Farmington. Just in time for the holiday shopping season, enjoy shopping locally from the comfort of your own home, knowing that you are keeping your hard-earned dollars to work in your local community. All of these initiatives, undertaken by local merchants and local eateries, offer you new ways to buy and are designed to keep you safe while doing business with them and to earn your patronage. Let's all remember to send some love to a local merchant or local eatery this season by buying from them instead this year when they need you and your purchases most. I'm Jeff Sloan, founder and CEO of StartupNation.com, and that's today's Business Beat on the great voice of the Great Lakes, WJR.
This report is sponsored by Compassion International.
We're all feeling the weight of COVID-19, but for kids in poverty this Christmas, things are desperate. Bring joy to a child when you make your special year-end gift to Compassion International. Just text GIFT to 83393. That's GIFT to 83393.
WJR Traffic First is sponsored by Chris Furniture. Chris Furniture wishes everyone a joyful holiday with family and friends. They are grateful to be celebrating the joys of Christmas, the birth of Jesus Christ. Chris Furniture wishes all a blessed, peaceful, and joyous holiday. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Grand Boulevard is closed for repairs between Harper Avenue and I-94 until early March, and your right lane is closed on I-75 southbound between Werner Highway and Springwell Street. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel. Here's your forecast.
Cloudy out there this morning. After lunchtime, scattered snow showers expected to move through. We could see some rain mix in before they taper off into the evening hours. Middle to upper 30s this afternoon, 32 tonight. Sunshine mixing in with the clouds tomorrow, upper 30s. Partly sunny, upper 40s Wednesday. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ken Boone on News Talk 760 WJR.
Let's face it, life looks a little different. During these times, we're doing our best to keep our minds and bodies strong. And getting a flu shot helps us stay healthy, so we don't miss out on what matters. Like celebrating Grandma's 50th wedding anniversary with close family. Yeah, can't do that.
Okay, Kev, your next guest is there. We're coming back in about a minute here, okay?
All right, thanks.
You're welcome.
It's ruined. And don't forget your uncle's socially distanced cookout. Yeah, I think he burned the beef. See, that's why it's important to be at our strongest. Every year, millions of people in the U.S. get the flu. Especially now, no one has time to miss out on moments that matter. So get your flu shot. Find out more at getmyflushot.org. Brought to you by the AMA, CDC, and the Ad Council.
If I'm not commuting anymore, where do I really want to live? While you handle life's questions, Merrill Guided Investing helps you manage your portfolio and invest for your next move with the option to work with an advisor at a low cost and minimum. Merrill, a Bank of America company. Visit merrilledge.com/investing goals to get started today.
Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated, both a registered broker-dealer and investment advisor, member SIPC. Investment products are not FDIC insured or not bank guaranteed and may lose value.
Newsmax TV was just rated #1, and that was Greg Kelly's new show. Now, 30 million Americans watch Newsmax for the best news on President Trump. So download the free Newsmax app on your smartphone or watch Newsmax on all major cable systems. If they don't carry Newsmax, call them and tell them you want Newsmax. Get Newsmax TV for the latest from Dick Morris, Rudy Giuliani, Michelle Malkin, Diamond and Silk, and more. Watch Newsmax TV today.
Now back to more Paul W. Smith on WJR. Once again substituting, here's Kevin Dietz.
I was over at my brother's house the other day and I saw 3 copies of the same book. It's called Mick McCabe's Golden Yearbook. I don't know if these are Christmas gifts he's sending out or not, but they would certainly make good Christmas gifts. They're really nice looking, high quality coffee table books. And joining me on the line now is Mick McCabe, the author of the Golden Yearbook. Mick, how are you?
I'm fine, Kevin.
I'm hoping that I get one of these books as a gift because that's a high end book you're selling there. I don't know if I can afford to get one myself.
Yeah, I know. It's but our designer really did. Ryan Ford did a fabulous job with it, and Gene Myers, the editor, who used to be our sports editor, that he had a real clear vision of what he wanted, and from the book, and so I just did whatever they told me to do.
Yeah, I flipped through it. It's really great. It's definitely one that you'd leave out on the table and people pick up and look at. I think it was well done. I can't speak for the words you wrote. I haven't read it yet, but it looks great.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's what I think too. It looks fabulous.
Yeah. So anyway, we had you on today to talk about high school sports, and the playoffs are coming back. That's awesome, and really, I guess for me, it kind of hit me as a surprise. I kind of just felt like, oh well, the COVID numbers are still up and high, and they'll just move along. But it looks like we're going to have some high school championships.
Yes, absolutely. And the MHSA did a very good job in compiling data that showed that it wasn't being the COVID-19 virus was not being passed player to player, as teammate to teammate, or player to opponent, and most of the kids who did come down with it came down with it because of social tracing from social events when they went to parties and stuff, and it wasn't even being transmitted like student to student in school. So they felt they had a compelling argument for why it should be allowed to continue.
So high school football, a little cold outside this morning. How are kids practicing? Are they practicing? And where are they going to play their games? Are they going to make it to Ford Field, or is that an option?
Yeah, right now they are practicing. They began practice yesterday. Most of them were outside because it was a pretty good day. I think each team will spend a portion of the practice inside. To get there especially if it gets colder, they're going to want the kids to be able to concentrate, and you're not going to concentrate that much when you're outside freezing. So when they get their detail work done, and this is what we're going to do to try and stop this, and this is a play we're going to put in. A lot of that could be done inside in the gym, but they're going to have to be outside every day for a period of time to get used to the cold. And right now they're going to be playing at home sites. Whoever has the higher playoff point average will host, and that'll be for the next two rounds. And details haven't been worked out for the final weekend yet at Ford Field, but I expect them to be done pretty soon. And I think the Fords and Ford Field are going to go out of their way to make sure this gets done too.
How many teams are in, and is somebody just a standout this year, or is it going to be a good playoff?
It's going to be a fabulous playoff. We've got 8 teams in each division, and in 8-player football they're down to the semifinals, so they got this weekend and next weekend, but we got 3 weekends left in 11-player. And right off the bat, when we begin playing next Saturday, probably a week from Saturday, we've got number 1 Belleville hosting number 3 Cass Tech. Bam, right off the bat.
Now, yeah. When's the last time these kids played?
It's been like 4 weeks, maybe.
Wow.
But they've played 9 games,
Mm-hmm.
and so they've got a conditioning base. And most of these programs, they were Zooming with their players a few times a week, and they would give them routines, lifting and running. To keep in shape. So I don't think they're going to be terribly out of shape. It will take them time, like I said, to get used to being outside, but they got 2 weeks for that. So I think they can get that done.
Yeah, a lot of talk about the college bowl games and whatnot, but boy, I think for these high school kids and their parents and their families to get that opportunity to go on a playoff run is just fantastic. It's like a bright spot in a dismal year.
Right, and and they're going to be back in school too. The governor's opened that up, and I think that's so important. My daughter's a pediatrician and said she has never seen so many cases of depression, anxiety, and with her girls, eating disorders.
Wow.
And they just need to be somewhere around other kids. And unfortunately, if they're not in school, they are getting together in social settings, and that's not the way it's supposed to be. I think the schools did a terrific job of social distancing and that when the kids were in school. And so it'll be good to be back in school.
So then girls volleyball is also coming back. I think I might have a niece playing. Is Marion still in it? Do you know?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yep.
I may be watching a game.
Yes, you may. Well, yeah, on Zoom, but they're not going to allow spectators in there. But they're going to televise as many games, streaming as many games as possible. And they got 1 week left in girls. They got the quarterfinals, and then they go to Battle Creek for this for the semis, and then the finals. So, and that'll be in a couple weeks, and they should be able to take care of that fine. And there's 1 day left that they'll spread over 2 for girls swimming and diving.
Now, have they been able to practice, or were the indoor sports just able to start up again Monday as well?
Yeah,
to practice?
yeah, that's the first day. And the swimmers, I really feel bad for them because they swim and all season, and they taper for the state meet, and everybody had been tapered for that, and now you got to blow it up and start over. And because they haven't been able to work out in pools because they've all been closed for the most part. And so I'm just hoping the swimming coaches take it easy because I could see a lot of shoulder injuries and, with the kids trying to do too much too soon.
Yeah, a lot of kids are going to be rusty, but I guess everybody's equally in the same boat when it comes to that. And I bet all of them are thrilled that they're going to have the opportunity to compete.
Yeah, so am I. They needed closure, and this will give it to them.
All right, Mick McCabe, Detroit Free Press, thanks for calling into the show.
Anytime, Kevin.
All right. I'll take a quick break here on the Paul W. Smith Show to check traffic and weather with Rich Lazinski.
This report is sponsored by the Exergen Temporal Scanner. Fever is the leading sign of COVID-19. Use an accurate thermometer for twice daily checks. Protect your loved ones with the Exergen Temporal Scanner. It takes an accurate reading in seconds and is the only home thermometer recommended by hospitals, physicians, and clinics. Stay safe with Exergen.
WJR Traffic First is sponsored by Capital Grille Holiday Gift Cards. This year, make everyone happy with a Capital Grille gift card. The gift card with no restrictions. Buy $500 or more in Capital Grille gift cards and get 10% in bonus gift cards. The Capital Grille will also include a mahogany case with 4 perfectly balanced steak knives. Call 248-649-5300 now. Grand Boulevard is closed for repairs between Harper Avenue and I-94 until early March. No accidents at this time, but expect delays on Gratiot Avenue southbound between Frasio and 10 Mile due to construction. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel. Cloudy, it's 37 degrees. I'm Rich Luzinski. WJR News in 2 minutes.
Hi, I'm Connie Holzer. It's that time of year again, and grateful comes to mind. I'm happy to be able to talk to you personally. Let's be grateful for our servicemen and women who make sure we sleep well at night and protect this wonderful country of ours, the United States of America. It has been a year like no other, one that will be written in the history books forever. But we are grateful that there is an end in sight. Let us always remember our neighbors, our families, and our friends. This is a season to mend our fences, heal our hearts and souls, and care for one another. Let's be grateful for each other, for we are truly blessed with this wonderful season. And we at Tom Holzer Ford are extremely grateful for you. Our customers are the most important people in the world to us. Thank you, and have a very blessed and Merry Christmas.
Hey, Sean Belegian here for Wigley's famous Eastern Market corned beef. Living in Metro Detroit my whole life, I've been a fan of Wigley's for years. From the old world flavor found in the time-honored family recipe to the consistent quality, Wigley's has been an Eastern Market staple since 1924. Now, it's the best time of the year to enjoy Wigley's corned beef. Whether gathering with friends to root on the green and white or maize and blue, tailgating.
So, Kev, it looks like the streaming wars are starting to heat up.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it says here that Disney quickly catching up to Netflix with streaming content.
That Disney story is unbelievable. I think I read they were hoping to get 40 million subscribers in 4 years, and they've already surpassed that in year 1.
Yep.
Is that do they have really good programming, you think, or just more people are home looking for stuff?
Well, they've got, let's see, they got, I know that The Mandalorian is absolutely huge.
I see that everywhere, all over social media. People
I mean, what is
that? Futuristic, what do they call that genre?
It's it's science fiction. It's it's Star Wars. They have all the Marvel movies. They've got all their Disney movies. Plus they had a live action Mulan, a new Disney Mulan movie, and they had also the film version of the Broadway hit Hamilton.
Yes, that was
So
was all over that.
Yeah, and they've got new Marvel and new Star Wars content coming soon. So several originals from the Star Wars and Marvel franchises.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know that my daughter. That's all she watches now. She's like, she's like, "What do you? I'm going in the other room watching Disney."
Yeah. And they recently unveiled plans for 10 new original Star Wars series, 10 original Marvel series, 15 live action series from Disney and Pixar, and 15 live action films from Disney and Pixar. So it's and these are all going to be set to release over the next couple years. So they've announced Obi-Wan Kenobi from the Star Wars universe, which is going to be set 10 years after the Star Wars Episode 3. So this will just go on forever.
So what do you think there'll be mergers at some point, or do you think people will just subscribe to 50 different streaming services?
I don't know. That's the thing. See, they have they have these bundles now. I know that I have the bundle with Disney, Hulu, and ESPN Plus. So that gets me all three of those together. But you're right. There's so many different streaming services. Everybody's got one. HBO Max is just going crazy right now. Peacock has a new streaming service.
Yeah.
Netflix.
I don't even know. Someone's going to have to come up with a way to tell you what you have and what you need to see on all. There's so much out there.
The people that probably got to be worried right now are the cable and the satellite dish companies.
Is Peacock? I assume they're working on their own original materials as well.
Yeah, they got the remake of Saved by the Bell.
Good time to be an actor.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll have to start writing some movie scripts for these streaming companies.
It's crazy. You've got all kinds of stuff going on.
Literally, to sit down and think about what shows do you like to watch or want to watch. I can't even think of all the streaming services to check to see what might be on.
Right.
Let alone Showtime or HBO.
Showtime, Cinemax, HBO, Stars, Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, Peacock. Everybody. There's a ton of them.
And it seems like each streaming they go and get some megastar to create some show to get everybody to sign up. And what are they all about? $5 a month or?
It depends. It depends. Yeah, it depends. It depends because Hulu offers stuff where you can get it with commercials or commercial free. I see that even IMDb has their own little streaming service where they will show you movies but they'll take 5 commercial breaks during the movies.
And then how does Roku work?
Roku is just a way to facilitate the the different apps you can download. It's kind of like a Fire Stick or an Apple TV. So it just allows you to watch all the different streaming services that you have. But if you think about it, you pay for all these streaming services, and so many people are like, I cut the cord, I don't deal with cable anymore, and all that. But you're still paying,
if you have 8 services
for the different services, right? So I don't know what the difference is.
And do they still let you pass your code around to everybody?
So far they do. Yeah, they haven't figured out how to put a stop to that yet.
Yeah, that's I'll go on to our service, and you'll be watching a show. You'll be on a certain episode, and then someone else has watched it, and
right.
You have to go back and find where you were.
Right. If you happen to watch, there's a Netflix has a documentary about how Netflix came about. You should watch that documentary. It's very interesting and how they started.
On Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
You know what it's called? Or is it just?
Yeah, I think it's just the Netflix history or something.
Yeah.
It's just a history of Netflix or whatever. But how they started with, because they used to send out the DVDs to you in the little sleeves,
Okay.
and you used to watch them and then send them back. That's how they got their start.
I just watched the Pixar documentary, and I thought it was excellent.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Those are good.
Yeah.
But you got to be able to find them. I guess the Netflix one will be on Netflix, huh?
I'm sure it will. My man Steve Jobs was a big part of Pixar for a little while.
Yeah, he was a major part of that.
Yep.
Documentary is their main investor, and he really took some gambles because he lost a lot. I mean, it took him quite a while to make money.
You're right. All right, we're coming back. Your guest is there.
All right.
Now back to more Paul W. Smith on WJR. Once again substituting, here's Kevin Dietz.
Well, if you've been watching TV at all, you've probably watched several people get vaccinated. We saw Joe Biden get his shot, and Mike Pence, even Santa Claus got a shot, and a lot of people are getting vaccinated for COVID-19, and a lot more people need to be. And Moderna is ready. They're rolling out their COVID vaccine, and a lot of eyes on it to see if there are more shipping problems. Like we saw with Pfizer in the first round. And here to bring us up to speed on what's going on is Eben Brown, Fox News correspondent and WJR contributor. Eben, thanks for being on the show.
Hi, good morning.
So the rollout started, Sunday?
The rollout began Sunday for Moderna, yes, and we started seeing a vaccine arrive around the country yesterday and being put right to use.
And so far, so good with Moderna?
So far, so good for right now, yes. The vaccine has shipped. It is arriving in its destination, which it could be one of two types of places. One, of course, could be a hospital system that needs to vaccinate its staff. The other is retail pharmacies, namely Walgreens and CVS, but others that are handling the vaccinating of senior citizens that are bound to long-term care facilities, which is the next group that needs to be vaccinated. So this is a slow rollout, but it's actually pretty quick, but it's slow in terms of, just these two groups of our population. We're a country of 330 million 330 million people. So, but the goal here was always to get 20 million Americans vaccinated by January 1. Predominantly those working on the front line medical needs for caring for COVID patients. The other being perhaps the most at-risk population after that is the senior citizens that are living in senior long-term care facilities. And so we knew that 20 million would be that number, and it looks like they're on task to get that done. And of course, the January 1 is 10 days away, right? 9 days away. So, or 8. I'm trying to do my math right here. Forgive me, but we're coming up here at the end of the year. So, so we're looking at things moving actually pretty smoothly. I know there was some talk about some Pfizer vaccine that was being kept in warehouses, and that is true. There is Pfizer vaccine in warehouses, but we did not really have any major shipping issues with regard to Pfizer.
Now, is there much difference between the Pfizer and the Moderna vaccine? Is there are people trying to decide which to take, or is it just, hey, get me some to my area and let's get as many people?
Right now, you get either one or the other. You don't get you don't get to pick one from column A or column B kind of thing. And here's the most important thing that what people need to know is that they are not interchangeable. They're both these two vaccines require a double dose, right? You get one, you get a booster 3 weeks or so afterwards. If you got Pfizer the first time, you need Pfizer the second time. If you get Moderna the first time, you need Moderna the second time. You cannot mix and match. The cool thing here is that under Operation Warp Speed is that there is a database which knows which one you got the first time. So they know, therefore, which one to give you the second time. And so, we feel that people are going to be in good shape. One of the things that has a lot of these medical experts and regulators and health officials excited about is the coming vaccine from Janssen, which is an arm of Johnson & Johnson. which is a single-dose vaccine. This is the one that they feel will be the most effective on a grand scale because people will get that first dose and they don't need to worry about them getting that second dose. They don't need to chase them down. The patient themselves doesn't need to worry about getting a needle twice if they have fears of needles or whatever. And so they really do feel that having that single shot vaccine is going to entice a lot of people, the general public, namely, to come and get vaccinated when it's time. We need 75 to 80% of all Americans to get vaccinated in order for this vaccine to really do its job, and that is to begin to provide herd immunity.
Yeah, I think it's just amazing that the vaccine is up and running in 2020. I just couldn't have imagined that possible to happen so quickly. So the fact that there's some hiccups along the way doesn't bother me much. But is there anything that Moderna has learned from Pfizer's rollout that will make it smoother for them, or that Janssen can learn from the first two that will make it smoother for them?
Well, Janssen and Moderna and Pfizer aren't the ones doing the actual shipping. That's being done under the auspices of Operation Warp Speed. And that combines the logistics expertise of the U.S. military. And while our military is the world's most fearsome and efficient fighting force, it's also the most fearsome and efficient logistics force this planet has ever known. And they are the ones who have been planning this and accommodating for errors, accommodating for what anyone else would be an unseen circumstance. There's been dress rehearsals going on all these months, and they are effecting this with the help of commercial partners, UPS and FedEx, which, by the way, are doing a pretty good job at a time of year where they are taxed. I mean, this is the holiday season. This is where UPS and FedEx are the most busy, and they have been able to accommodate this pretty easily. And that's, this is all working very, very well. I mean, look, there could always be an error. There could always be something that happens. As much as you've tried to plan for everything, there might be something that causes a hiccup. But really, there haven't been that many things that have really jammed this up. I mean, even a nor'easter last weekend really jammed this up. And
that's amazing. When do you think the end of the line, the non-essentials, will get their vaccinations?
So, like I said, 20 million by the end of this year, which is, in 10 days, but another 20 million or so next month that will be rolled out. It really by the middle of next year, end of Q2, there will be enough, it's predicted that there will be enough vaccine for any American who wants to be vaccinated to be able to get it. And they'll be able to do it much like they get a flu shot. You can go to that corner retail pharmacy. Could be a chain pharmacy, could be an independently owned pharmacy. You could go to that grocery store or that big box store that has a pharmacy department, and that pharmacist there could do it. Walk-in clinics, your regular doctor's office. It'll be available at so many different places that it won't be difficult for anyone to find it. The only thing holding them back from getting it is their own personal decision. It'll also be free of charge. The vaccine itself is free, and I know that under Operation Warp Speed, they are trying to make sure that nobody actually charges for the administration of it.
All right, great stuff, Evan Brown. We appreciate you coming on.
You got it. Take care.
For the most part, things are moving smoothly. Let's see how traffic is moving with Rich Lazinski.
This report is sponsored by Compassion International.
We're all feeling the weight of COVID-19, but for kids in poverty this Christmas, things are desperate. Bring joy to a child when you make your special year-end gift to Compassion International. Just text GIFT to 83393. That's GIFT to 83393.
WJR Traffic First is sponsored by Primetime Testing Laboratory, specializing in automotive interior mechanical testing. If it's in the car, Primetime Testing tests it all. They are the automotive industry's most accurate test reporting and guaranteed on-time delivery. For your next automotive project, hire Primetime Testing Lab. Get a free quote at PrimetimeTestingLab.com. That's PrimetimeTestingLab.com. No accidents to speak of. The I-94 westbound ramp to Mount Elliott is closed due to construction through early March, and your right lane is closed on I-75 southbound between Grand Boulevard and I-94. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel. Here's your forecast.
Mostly cloudy skies today, scattered snow showers later on this afternoon. We could see some rain mix in, mid-upper 30s. Snow and rain showers tapering to an end this evening. Cloudy overnight, 32. A little sunshine mixing in with the clouds tomorrow, upper 30s. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ken Boone on Newstalk 760 WJR.
Hi, I'm Matt Garkle with Bill Brown Ford in Livonia. As we race for the title of America's #1 Ford dealer, it's our customers who are in the driver's seat. To thank everyone for helping us get this far, we're offering unprecedented savings during our Built for the Holidays sales event. Choose from one of the nation's largest inventories as we rev up the savings.
Your next guest is ready to go. Last name pronounced Burns.
Okay, great.
Like Mr. Burns from The Simpsons.
I like it.
Mr. Burns. So that was interesting what Eben had to say. Vaccines to non-essential employees by
June, July.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a while.
Yeah, that's what they were predicting. So I
Yeah.
guess they're on track. And it'll be interesting to see once it's available to everyone how many people will get it or not get it.
Yeah.
You're going to get it, right?
Yeah, but we're considered also essential, so they might get it earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We'll come back in a minute here.
All right, great.
All right.
Financial life and protect your hard-earned retirement money from the IRS's excessive future taxes. Call the Senior Financial Center at 800-957-0403 for a complimentary income and tax analysis to set up a meeting virtually, over the phone, or one-on-one.
Charles Bartman is a licensed professional in Michigan for the products he sells. Talking with Michelle Wildman from the MEDC. And Michelle, tell us a little bit about the MEDC.
The MEDC is the lead agency responsible for marketing Michigan and supporting vibrant, diverse, and sustainable communities. We're made up of a group of talented individuals who care about the state and are passionate about the state's economic potential. We're committed to investing in our communities to grow jobs and create vibrant places to live while aiming to provide equitable economic opportunity for all Michiganders.
Tell us about the Redevelopment Ready Communities program.
Well, the Redevelopment Ready Communities program is a set of best practices that communities can use for planning. RRC can act as a pipeline for the Michigan Main Street candidates by identifying communities that are poised for downtown place management best practices and could benefit from the additional support that the Michigan Main Street can provide. That formal recognition that a community has a vision for the future and the fundamental practices are in place that make it right for future development.
Michelle, what kind of support can the MEDC give to local communities to support their vision of a reality?
One of the exciting programs that we have is called the Public Spaces for Community Places crowdfunding initiative to democratize public funding, making it accessible for everyone and encouraging members of each community to play a part in securing that funding to help improve their shared quality of life.
Learn more about the MEDC. Go to miplace.org and hear this entire interview with Michelle at wjr.com/MEDC.
You know what's not healthy? Stressing about work. Or maybe you're out of work. Stop. Hit reset. You can start a new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months from the comfort of your own home, even if you have zero computer experience. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. Live online classes meet just twice a week. Financial aid, including the GI Bill, is available to those who qualify. It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
Looking around your law firm, it's hard not to be proud of what you've created. A respected brand with 20 associates who give their all every day. You have what it takes to go big. Everything except a plan. How will you expand your footprint or increase revenue? Lexicon makes it possible. Lexicon is a legal services and technology provider with over a decade of experience helping law firms scale and grow while maximizing billable hours and maintaining client satisfaction. Call 855-4-LEXICON or visit lexiconservices.com/grow to learn more.
Now back to more Paul W. Smith on WJR. Once again substituting, here's Kevin Dietz.
Well, if you follow President Donald Trump on Twitter, you may have noticed he hasn't been tweeting too much about the election lately, but don't be mistaken, he hasn't given up on his claims that he won the election for president. But some other people are starting to say, let's just stop talking about that, let's stop fighting about that, and let's move on, including Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. Here to talk about what's going on in Washington is our friend Jesse Burns, Fox News contributor. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Kevin. Good to be with you.
I'm sorry, Jesse, you're the associate editor of The Hill. I get that straight. I'm sorry. So tell us what is exactly going on with the president's battle to stay in office and where Mitch McConnell stands on that.
Sure. Well, of course, we saw for several weeks, ever since the election was projected that Biden would win in early November, Trump and his campaign launching a series of lawsuits across the country, more than 50, trying to protest the results in several states. All of those lawsuits getting forwarded all the way up to the Supreme Court. And so we haven't seen really any kind of movement to actually legitimately overturn any election results in any state, let alone in several states that would be needed to change the results of the elections. But that hasn't stopped, like you said, President Trump and a handful of allies in the House and Senate, Republicans who are anticipated to vote essentially in protest against Biden's win. Mo Brooks down in Alabama is a House Republican who is kind of leading this charge and is expected to protest when Congress convenes on January 6th to confirm these results. Expected to raise challenges against those. Of course, that kind of effort would require the support of at least one senator. And most Republicans, all the way up to Mitch McConnell, have indicated little support or even in some cases opposition to this effort, essentially saying that after all the states voted last week to certify the election results, this challenge is basically dead on arrival. But we might see a couple of senators, allies of the president, back this effort. We have our eyes on Rand Paul down in Kentucky, as well as Tommy Tuberville, the incoming senator from Alabama. Both have indicated some support for the election, claiming that it was stolen from Trump. So we'll see how many Republicans end up coming out in support of this effort, even though the Congress as a whole is expected to reject the effort.
So what would it look like if Mo Brooks is successful and is able to present challenges? How would that play out?
Well, Congress is presented with certificates for every state, essentially saying that one candidate won that state, and then then Congress has to then confirm that those certificates are valid then for every single state. So it's not uncommon for members in either chamber to vote essentially in protest against the results of an election in any particular state. Back in 2017, after President Trump won election a few months earlier, several House Democrats voted in protest against his win. And of course, that effort went nowhere, and no Democratic senator backed the effort, and his win was ultimately confirmed. But we can anticipate in 5 states at least where the results were closer. Mo Brooks and these Republican senators, if they do back this effort, could essentially force a debate in Congress over the results in those particular states, and then that would then set up Congress to have to then vote to confirm that the results were in fact valid.
So when Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell urges conservatives not to cause a floor fight in Congress over the results of the election, is he doing that to protect his own image, or to make sure that his constituency at home looks favorably on him, or do you think that's more for party unity to kind of bring the party together moving forward?
Well, the biggest reason, and you have to kind of understand that Mitch McConnell, even after the election, major news outlets projected Biden as the president-elect, I think on November 7th. Despite that, Mitch McConnell for weeks did not recognize Biden as the winner of the election, and he only came out to acknowledge that Biden had won last week after all the states had voted to certify their election results. And so he has definitely tried to, maintain as much support as he can for President Trump. But at the end of the day, states are going to have to vote to certify, and then Congress has to then vote to confirm those results. And so he has his eye right now on the 2 senators running for re-election in Georgia. That, of course, those races, the runoffs in early January as well, that will determine who controls the Senate. And so Republicans right now have a narrow majority. And for him and for other Republicans, they don't think it's worth potentially risking losing either of those Senate races or both, and potentially then control of the chamber, just to kind of come out and voice support for this kind of failed effort, or this doomed effort rather, on behalf of the president. And so they have their eye on winning those 2 Georgia seats, and in order to do that, they want to project confidence in the electoral system, and the way to do that would then be to vote to confirm these election results on behalf of Biden.
Is there a feeling that Representative Mo Brooks and Senator Tommy Tuberville feel that somehow Donald Trump could remain in office, or is this just an opportunity for them to protest the problems with the election?
Yeah, I mean, in their view, they probably, they have come out and openly asserted that they think that the election was stolen from President Trump in several states, that voting systems were somehow amiss, and that the results were inaccurate. We haven't seen any kind of support in terms of evidence from the Trump campaign and any of their lawsuits across the country to back up those kind of claims about voting systems. But in their view, they are trying to essentially kind of go along with an effort by Trump, and at the same time, even if it's not their spoken reasoning, they are kind of raising their profile in the process.
This will all take place in the first week of January. Jesse Burns, Associate Editor of The Hill, thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you.
All right, happy holidays. We're going to take a quick break here on the Paul W. Smith Show to check traffic with Rich Lazinski.
This report is sponsored by Compassion International.
We're all feeling the weight of COVID-19, but for kids in poverty this Christmas, things are desperate. Bring joy to a child when you make your special year-end gift to Compassion International. Just text GIFT to 83393. That's GIFT to 83393.
WJR Traffic First is sponsored by Capital Grille Holiday Gift Cards. This holiday, get a 3-course meal for your family, including tenderloin, lobster, and shrimp. Or get a Capital Grille gift card. Buy $500 or more and get 10% in bonus gift cards. And get a mahogany case with 4 perfectly balanced steak knives. Order now at thecapitalgrille.com. The I-94 westbound ramp to Mount Elliott is closed due to construction through early March. And your right lane is closed on I-75 southbound between between Grand Boulevard and I-94. Now WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel. Cloudy, it's 37 degrees. I'm Rich Luzinski. WJR News in 2 minutes.
Time to get your fix of Lions news. Here's Lions Daily with WJR's Steve Courtney.
So the Lions put 25 points up on the Tennessee Titans, sometimes enough to win a football game, not when your defense plays like the Lions did. 46-25 the final. Here's interim head coach Darrell Bevell.
Offensively, there was some good things going on, but cannot turn the ball over. You really take the game out of your hands when you're giving the opponent ball back. And then defensively, I think the game was going to come down to first and second down more than anything, because the third downs, if you make them, short, it's much easier to convert. We were unable to do that. Couldn't really ever get that under control on first and second down. So it made it a long day for the defense on that side of the ball.
Not only is Santa coming to town, Tom Brady is too, and the 9-5 Buccaneers. That will be a 1:00 kick on Saturday. We're with you at 10 here on Lions Radio.
That's Lions Daily on Lions Radio, 760 WJR.
Do windows talk? Wallside windows do, especially now during the holidays. They send our greetings, communicate our feelings. For 76 years, the Wallside family has proudly made and installed windows to improve your home and brighten your holidays. Right now, save half off every Wallside window plus 5 years, no interest. If 2021 is the year to make your home more beautiful, schedule your safe at-home or virtual estimate at wallside.com.
I'm Jeff Sloan, founder and CEO of StartupNation.com and host of WJR's Business Beat, featuring stories from the entrepreneurial tech and startup communities. Tune in weekdays at 7:11 a.m. during the Paul W. Smith Show right here on WJR. Our friends over at Dell Technologies want you to know they are here to support the entrepreneur and startup communities during this unique time of remote working.
Kev.
Hey, what's going on?
So, did you see this story in USA Today about McDonald's giving away free food from cheeseburgers to coffee with app purchases now through Christmas Eve?
No, I didn't. I saw something about a McDonald's in China that has some sort of Oreo ingredient on some sort of burger.
Yeah. McDonald's starting Monday and through December 24th. The fast food chain is featuring iconic holiday characters' favorite menu items and will give them away free with a $1 minimum purchase.
Like, so Mayor McCheese is going to
So,
be
like,
hanging
for
out.
instance, you get Frosty the Snowman, whose favorite item is the McFlurry. Buddy the Elf, who prefers hotcakes. The Grinch is an Egg McMuffin. And Seinfeld's Frank Costanza with a Festivus freebie on December 23rd. I don't know what that is, though.
That's a specific show that they had about Festivus.
Well, I know Festivus for the rest
yeah,
of us, right? But
right.
I'm not sure what food that's going to go along with that.
Maybe French fries.
And then the daily app deal ends on Christmas Eve with a free chocolate chip cookie in honor of Santa Claus.
Huh? So they're not promoting their own characters like Ronald and Grimace and
Right.
Mayor McCheese. They're promoting holiday characters.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. Will that get you to McDonald's?
When I do go to McDonald's, depending on the time of day, it will only be one of two items ever from McDonald's. If it's breakfast, then the egg and cheese bagel is fine, and if it's any other time and in a pinch, it's the McNuggets.
Oh, really? Okay.
That's it. But I find that I like Wendy's chicken nuggets better than McDonald's chicken nuggets.
Well, my story was an acquired taste. McDonald's China offers burger featuring Spam and crushed Oreos.
That sounds disgusting. Spam.
There was a Domino's bubble tea pizza in the past. For one day only this week, diners were invited to gobble up Spam and Oreo burgers. Whew.
McDonald's does have solid French fries, though. I don't know what they do special to their French fries. They always seem to taste the best. I don't know why.
Their fries?
Yeah, I'm not sure why. And then, according to Rich, and I think Mike Parsons also, McDonald's Diet Coke tastes better than other Diet Cokes, and I don't know why that would be either. But
no, I don't know anything about that. But when you Google McDonald's and hit news, it is blowing up on the China Spam burger.
So McDonald's China Spam burger. What are the ingredients of that again? Spam, Oreo cookies,
Oreo cookie crumbs, and mayo.
Spam.
I'm looking at this thing. It's just a Spam.
This is a McDonald's.
Spam.
This is a McDonald's.
There's no burger in there. It's just a Spam.
So it's Spam, mayo, or crumbled Oreo cookies, and it's a burger at McDonald's in China. You said?
Yeah, and on the picture, there's some cheese and tomatoes. It looks like as well. This is breaking news. I have to tell the audience I may not be 100% accurate on this. McDonald's outlets in China introduced a new burger to its menu, complete with Spam patties. Spam patties topped with Oreo cookie crumble and lashings of mayonnaise.
What are they calling this burger?
The new Oreo X Spam burger.
The Oreo X Spam burger.
400,000 of them produced and sold.
This is ridiculous. All right, your guest is there.
Completely thrown now. Thank you for that.
All right, hang tight.
Your business needs support to reach its new potential. The MEDC is available to help in any way we can. Contact us today for customized business assistance at michiganbusiness.org/partnership.
When Nicole's daughter was 18, she got the phone call every parent dreads.
Leah was a passenger in a car. Their vehicle was T-boned by a truck. Besides having collapsed lungs and some broken bones, she suffered traumatic brain injury.
It was a dark time.
We just had one goal for her as a family. That was just, Leah, open your eyes. That was it.
The family was devastated.
It was awful.
But with time,
very, very gradually, she began to come out of that coma. She still was unable to speak or even move.
but with the help of Oxford Recovery Center.
I thought it might be just what Leah needs, and I was right. It worked.
From autism to brain injury, If it needs healing, it needs Oxford Recovery Center.
And everybody's so friendly, too. That's one thing that Leah remarks all the time. Everyone here's so nice.
The new Brighton facility or in Troy at 248-486-3636 or visit oxfordrecoverycenter.com.
Don't ever give up.
Oxford Recovery Center, where healing begins.
Hi, folks. Craig Hubble, General Manager at Crestview Cadillac in Rochester. This is the month I want you to be driving a new Crestview Cadillac. You know, your safety is our top priority here. And I have a ton of 2020 and 2021 Cadillacs in stock, ready to deliver to you tonight, fully sanitized. These are the best prices of the year, and we're experts at employee pricing. We pull ahead Cadillac leases every day, and you'll always get a Cadillac loaner here. Call us now, see us on Rochester Road or at CrestviewCadillac.com.
From the great voice of the Great Lakes, this is Paul W. Smith on WJR. With Kevin Dietz filling in for Paul.
Good morning on this Tuesday, December 22nd. It is 8:06 in the morning. Happy holidays to all, and thanks for stopping by WJR AM 760, where Detroit comes to talk. We're also live on Facebook and YouTube this morning. So what do you think? Should a city bus driver get a shot before a grocery store worker? Do public school teachers get priority over staff at a homeless shelter? How do you feel about people taking cuts to get a COVID vaccine shot? What are the ethics when it comes to COVID vaccines? Join us on the line now from Grand Rapids is Ted Roloffs of Bridge, Michigan. Ted, welcome to the show.
Good to be with you.
So a lot of interesting questions. Not a ton of debate over who should get the first shots, and the state of Michigan and most states have said it's going to be the frontline workers and then the elderly. But after that, who's next, and how do you determine it? And what other ethical issues have been popping up when it comes to COVID-19 and getting a vaccine shot? You've been following this for Bridge, Michigan. What have you been finding out?
Well, as you say, I think there's pretty much universal agreement on step one and who gets vaccinated. The people that have been selflessly giving for many, many months, saving lots of lives, that would be frontline healthcare workers. Those are the first people to be vaccinated. And then next up, the most vulnerable, these are people in long-term care facilities where the portion of death, as we all know, is much higher. So those are the first priorities. And then after that, there's a broad range of people called essential workers, which are to be vaccinated, and there's some flexibility there in exactly who's an essential worker and when should they get the vaccine, and perhaps adding another wrinkle to this. Just on Sunday, the panel for the CDC put a recommendation out that people age 75 and up should be bumped up on a priority list to put them alongside essential workers. And as I understand it right now, there's some flexibility in how states are going to implement this, but that could change things as well. So it does, there's no right or wrong answer at some point when you look at this stuff, because I think the state's goal is to vaccinate 70% of adults in Michigan. That's 5.4 million people that they would like to get 70% vaccinated by the end of 2021. We don't have a fraction of the vaccines to accomplish that right now. So people are going to have to wait their turn.
Yeah, when they talk about 20 million going out in the next 10 days and 20 million in the next month, that sounds like a lot, but in a country with 350 million people, it's not enough to go around for sure. And so those tough decisions had to be made and will have to be made. Now, is it all directed from the governor's office, or do local counties or city officials have any say in who is going to get in line first and how it's going to be distributed?
Well, the state has a pretty detailed plan that it's put out, listing various tiers. There's phase 1A, then there's phase 1B, phase 1C, and so on. And there's definitions within each of these groups. Those are the broad guidelines. It then goes, a lot of this, to local health departments that are going to be distributing, in a lot of ways, vaccine that's going to essential workers. The local health departments are following state guidelines as well. So that's where the direction comes in. Ultimately, this goes out to beyond the healthcare departments to health providers, and they'll be following the same kind of guidelines as to who's going to get vaccinated and when. And also in talking with officials at some point, if we're talking about people who are deemed to be one of the categories down the priority list is people who are under the age of 64 that have an underlying health condition that would put them at risk. At some point, you're relying on the honor system for people. If they come in and say, I've got an underlying condition, I don't think people are going to be asking for documentation of all of this. It's just not practical.
So you're looking at it, or we're at least discussing, by age or by occupation. What about things like race and sex? COVID has seemed to hit the African American community harder than the Caucasian community. I believe it's hitting men worse than it's hitting women. Are those considerations taken in, or is it simply your age and occupation?
Well, state officials have recognized that in light of polls that indicate within the African American community in particular, there's a higher amount of suspicion about taking a vaccine for historical reasons. Primary one being this medical experiment, the Tuskegee medical experiment that went on from, I believe it was the 1930s for 4 decades, where they took African American people with untreated syphilis and put them on a regime where they told them they were getting treated and instead withheld any treatment whatsoever. Lots of people died as a result of that. And that's kind of a historic residue within the African American community as to why they might be suspicious of governmental programs, governmental vaccines. So the state of Michigan has a dedicated outreach effort of education and trying to reach African Americans and educate them about why the vaccine is a good thing to take. It's best for you. It's best for your community. So there is a recognition that there's somewhat of an obligation in that respect.
Yeah, and there's just these sort of dilemmas out there. I mean, if people are more likely to get COVID in prison than they are out of prison, should prisoners jump the line over somebody else because they're more at risk? Or do you say, well, they're in prison, they should be further down the line?
Yeah, like I say, at some level, there's no absolute right or wrong answer. I can understand the reasoning on one level with how you deal with prison staff and prisoners and vaccination. Right now, the hierarchy says we're going to vaccinate prison staff. We're not going to, at the same time, try to vaccinate all prisoners. And there's some logic to that. The prison staff out in the community, they're more likely to bring COVID in, and also it's a numbers game. There's far fewer staff than prisoners. There's something like 35,000 prisoners in state prisons, so it's a greater number of people you would need to vaccinate. And again, you're dealing with the same issue. We've got only so much vaccine at this time. Everybody can't get it at once, and so we have to make these decisions as we go along.
Yeah, the decisions are easy now at the beginning, but they're going to get more difficult as more of it becomes available and those decisions are made. It's very, very interesting. Yeah. I appreciate you coming on today. We'll check back with you maybe in another month to see how it's going and how these decisions are being made. Definitely a story I'd like to stay in touch with you on.
Oh, absolutely.
All right. Appreciate you being on the show. We're going to take a quick break on the Paul W. Smith Show and check traffic and weather with Rich Lazinski.
This report is sponsored by BetterHelp.com. Is there something interfering with your happiness? BetterHelp wants you to start living a happier life today. BetterHelp will match you with your own licensed professional therapist. And right now, get 15% off your first month. Visit BetterHelp.com/feelhappy for 15% off your first month.
WJR Traffic First is also sponsored by the Carpenters Labor Management Partnership Team. Make a career change today and join the skilled trades. The Carpenter LMPT contractors are looking for professional, hardworking individuals that want to build a career with great pay, full retirement, and family health care. Text JOB to 855-424-2562. That's JOB to 855-424-2562. 2562. Not much going on the roadways now, although we are expected to get a little bit of rain and snow mix, making the roadways a little slicker, so do be careful. Grand Boulevard is closed for repairs between Harper Avenue and I-94 until early March, and expect delays on Gratiot Avenue southbound between Frajo and 10 Mile due to construction. Now, WJR Weather first from the Weather Channel. Here's your forecast.
Scattered snow showers expected later on this afternoon and into this evening. We could see some rain mix in at times. Middle to upper 30s this afternoon, low 30s tonight. A little sunshine mixing over the clouds tomorrow, upper 30s. Milder Wednesday, partly sunny, upper 40s. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ken Boone on News Talk 760 WJR.
Hey, this year, we've all been taking actions to keep ourselves and our loved ones healthy, like wearing a face covering and minimizing contact with others whenever we're out in public. And now that flu season is upon us, my friends at Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan want to remind everyone that there's never been a more important time to get the flu shot. It's a smart, safe, and simple way to protect yourself as well as everyone around you. By keeping people healthy from seasonal illnesses like the flu, we can reduce the strain placed on healthcare resources and allow healthcare workers to continue to focus their efforts in the fight against COVID-19. So, this flu season, give it a shot. You can get one at your doctor's office or, like I did, at a participating pharmacy. There also may be additional resources available within your community or through your place of employment. Plus, if you are lucky enough to be a Blue Cross or Blue Care Network member.
Okay, Kev, your next guest is set to go.
Oh, okay. Sounds good.
Sokolowski is how you pronounced her last name.
Say it again.
Sokolowski.
Sokolowski.
Yeah.
Sokolowski.
Yeah.
All right.
Actually, I say it's like sock. It's actually Sokolowski. Sokolowski is what she
Well, you
said.
just
Like
changed
socks. Yeah.
it.
I'm gonna double check it real quick again, but I think she said Sokolowski. So let me just check one more time.
Please reach within. In a year with fewer red kettles, your $25 monthly donation to the Salvation Army of Metro Detroit helps rescue Christmas for the most vulnerable. Enlist in Love's Army at salmish.org. Again, that's salmish.org.
You know what's not healthy? Stressing about work, or maybe you're out of work. Stop. Hit reset. You can start a new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months from the comfort of your own home, even if you have zero computer experience. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. Live online class.
All right. Sokolowski.
Sure, why not?
Okay, she is your image and etiquette specialist for the perfect Christmas gift coming up. Here we go. Hang tight.
Or increase revenue. Lexicon makes it possible. Lexicon is a legal services and technology provider with over a decade of experience helping law firms scale and grow while maximizing billable hours and maintaining client satisfaction. Call 855-4-LEXICON or visit lexiconservices.com/grow to learn more.
Now back to more Paul W. Smith on WJR. Once again substituting, here's Kevin Dietz.
All I want for Christmas is, well, fill in the blank. What do you want for Christmas this year? I wouldn't mind a big gift, a chance to travel out of the country maybe, or a small gift to just be able to eat inside a restaurant, maybe skip the line for a vaccine shot, or I don't know, 3 months supply of toilet paper. Look, let's face it, this year Santa's getting a wish list that looks very different as a result of COVID-19. And here to help us with the perfect gift for all the people on your nice list is Valerie Sokolowski, Image and Etiquette Specialist. Valerie, thanks for calling in.
Well, you're welcome. And happy holiday, Kevin.
Happy holiday to you as well. Where are you calling from today?
I'm in Dallas, Texas.
You're in Dallas, Texas. Okay, I just want to. I'm not sure if all the gift ideas are different for the Dallas versus the Midwest up here in Michigan, but it is a crazy year to try and get gifts for people, isn't it?
You know, it really is, Kevin, and the whole theme, I think, at the end of this year is be refreshed for next year. Everyone is stressed, including me, and I'm a pretty positive person. But I'll tell you what. This is the time for a couple of things. First of all, make it easy on the people who are receiving the gift. and make it easy on you who are giving the gift. So I'll just start with something really simple, which is now it's okay to give a gift card. I used to hate that, Kevin. I wanted to give something that people could open and see the joy or know it's going to be smiles when they open it. But now don't worry about that. Gift cards are perfectly appropriate. So we'll just start there.
Yeah, that's one thing where typically, like, you have a gathering and you say, well, it's going to be a really boring Christmas party if everyone's just exchanging gift cards. But with people not seeing each other, it really is a good gift, because it's a gift that everybody wants, where they can pick out their own gift, and you're not necessarily all together in a group just passing out gift cards this year.
Right. Well, and let me just say up front, if the listeners want more, I've got a whole list of things I can send to them if they will just email me at Valerie, Valerie, at ValerieandCompany, all spelled out, .com. But let me kind of tag on what you said, Kevin. There are some other things that are easy for you to give and easy for people to receive. What about memberships? As an example, there are memberships to things that are received every month. As an example, there's a book club membership where people can select out of maybe a choice of 3 books what they want the following month. And so that's kind of fun to receive something every month. Another one is called TheraBox, THERABOX, TheraBox. And this one is a self-care subscription box where someone will receive and open different things within this little box that are to take care of yourself. So you can get creative with things. Food, everyone knows, or a lot of people know, the site Blue Apron, where you can buy a subscription and food would be delivered. So you can think outside the box and consider some of those things.
Yeah, and even, it's just things are so different now. Like you're at home and you have more time on your hands. It seems like, even we were talking earlier about how nice it is to do a puzzle, and we're seeing more people put together puzzles, I think, than ever before. And that might sound like not much of a gift on a different year, but this year it's kind of nice, and it's an activity that can help fill a void, when you're not able to get out and about much.
And it helps the brain work.
Right.
You brought up a great topic. Another thing to think about are games. Now it's time to go back to those old games we used to play and are still fun, like Monopoly and the new television show about chess. Chess is becoming a new thing all over again. And so go online and look at some of the games that either you can play yourself or with another person or with the family. It's back to simplicity. Isn't that great?
Right. Well, you were talking about being an optimistic person, and I think that if you're sitting around watching too much TV, it can wane on you a little bit. And I think the idea of getting around the table with your family and playing a board game is a great idea. And you can also have interactive games if you can't be with somebody in the same house. A lot of these video games now are interactive, where you basically have a headset on and you feel like you're, right sitting next to somebody, but they could be, 5 states away.
Yeah, that's for sure. And I've got another idea, and this isn't advertisement, but I'm an executive coach. This is a time, I'll tell you what, I couldn't be busier, because people are needing, and those who work, I'm talking about, those who just need to have a coach to talk through issues at work, situations where they're trying to keep, as an example, their teams inspired and motivated. And oh my gosh, they're zoomed out. We're all zoomed out. And so what about a 2 or 3 executive coaching, I'll just say coaching sessions with someone like me that's an ICF certified coach? That's another idea.
And what do you think about maybe home exercise stuff or videos like that? People a lot, the gyms have been open and closed. Or here in Michigan, you have to wear a mask if you go to the gym. Are there gifts like that can help with your mood and keep you in shape?
Oh, absolutely. Especially for men. What a great thing to do for a man. Give sessions with a trainer when you were not so social distance. But even so, I have to admit, I have a cleaning lady twice a month, and she's at the other end of my condo and I'm at the other end, and I feel fine with her. The day is going to come when we will be able to be a little bit closer together. And back to your point on things that you can give online, like audibles. Everyone would enjoy, I would think most people would enjoy books that are audible books, or music, Spotify subscriptions for the year. And back to working out. Not everyone can give this year either. That's the other thing, Kevin. And so your time. What about thinking about the moms at work and the kids are around, they're homeschooled? If you can, and have someone that you can relieve a little stress for a working mom, go over and take their kids out for an ice cream for a couple of hours over the holiday, or back when they're working again. Or here's something that I think would be great, again, next year, hopefully when things open up a little bit. Everyone likes to be refreshed inside their home. What about offering a closet organizer, one of these professional organizers that comes in? Again, they could come in by themselves, you'd be in another room, and let them clean out a closet or a pantry, or just help someone by cleaning up their yard or blowing some snow off the sidewalk. There's things people can do.
It's a good year to think outside the box. Tell us again how we can get your information, Valerie.
My website is valerieandcompany.com, and email is valerie@valerieandcompany.com. And thank you for that.
Easy, no problem. Easy. Go ahead.
Thing, Kevin, if I can, real quick, talk about inspiration. I do have a podcast that is inspirational should people enjoy watching it. And that is at the site is youtube.com/Valerie and Company. It's called Doing It Right. And I interview people who are, in fact, doing things well and right and maintaining their integrity as they are in the workplace today.
All right, Valerie, you have a great holiday.
And you too. Bye for now.
All right, let's check traffic with Rich Lazinski.
This report is sponsored by the Exergen Temporal Scanner. Don't take chances with COVID-19 and your family's health. Use the Exergen Temporal Scanner to check temperatures before dinner and before you leave home. It takes an accurate reading in seconds and is the #1 thermometer recommended by hospitals, doctors, and nurses. Stay safe with Exergen.
WJR Traffic First is sponsored by Gordon Chevrolet. Gordon Chevrolet's December specials are fantastic. Real GM employee pricing for everyone. Inventory is slim, so don't wait. Open Christmas Eve till 3. Back open Monday. And staying open late every night, including New Year's Eve. Ford Road just west of Merriman and Garden City. GordonChevrolet.com. Gordon Chevrolet. Find new roads. The I-94 westbound ramp to Mount Elliott is closed due to construction through early March. And your right lane is closed on I-75 southbound between Grand Boulevard and I-94. Now WJR weather first from the Weather Channel. Cloudy. It's 36 degrees. I'm Rich Luzinski. WJR News in about a minute and a half.
Let's face it, life looks a little different. During these times, we're doing our best to keep our minds and bodies strong. And getting a flu shot helps us stay healthy, so we don't miss out on what matters. Like celebrating Grandma's 50th wedding anniversary with close family. Yeah, can't do that while sick with the flu. Now imagine family movie night that your daughter can't live without. Well, that's ruined. And don't forget your uncle's socially distanced cookout. Yeah, I think he burned the beef. See, that's why it's important to be at our strongest. Every year, millions of people in the U.S. get the flu. Especially now, no one has time to miss out on moments that matter. So get your flu shot. Find out more at getmyflushot.org. Brought to you by the AMA, CDC, and the Ad Council.
This report is sponsored by Compassion International.
We're all feeling the weight of COVID-19. But for kids in poverty this Christmas, things are desperate. Bring joy to a child when you make your special year-end gift to Compassion International. Just text GIFT to 83393. That's GIFT to 83393.
Thousands of frontline healthcare workers and those in nursing homes are getting their COVID vaccines. Health and Human Services Secretary Alex Azar and Dr. Anthony Fauci are also the latest in the Trump administration to get their vaccines. Azar explaining why he's opting for the Moderna vaccine.
This was invented by our scientists at NIH, partnered with Moderna, and so I want to be there with the team as well as with our brave healthcare workers at our clinical center at NIH to get vaccinated by the NIH vaccine.
And Vice President Mike Pence and the U.S. Surgeon General received their vaccinations last week. President-elect Joe Biden got his yesterday. Health experts in the UK are scrambling to understand a new strain of the coronavirus. There are questions about whether the current vaccines will really work on it. Here's Fox's Tanya J. Powers.
Canada, France, and Italy are among those signing on to the ban. Germany is not only banning flights from the UK, but also...
Your next guest is set to go, Kev.
All right, cool.
That was my favorite interview of the morning.
I tell you what, she's a pro at getting her website out there, and her
I know.
What do they call those? Get your
social media stuff out there.
Yeah, they get yourself. I can't remember what they call that now. I don't know. My brain is tired, but give a plug.
Yeah,
she
a
gave
plug.
herself. She gave herself multiple plugs.
She was great.
She should have just done traffic. She was halfway through the traffic break.
There was a lady when my first radio job, and her name was Valerie also, and she used to be like Miss First Nighter at the Fisher Theater or something, and she had all these tapes of interviews that she had done with like Sammy Davis Jr. and Frank Sinatra and like the Rat Pack and people that,
Right.
and so she would play these tapes on her show, and then we would play records of like Barbra Streisand and the Nat King Cole, and that was her show. And this Valerie reminded me of her. It was kind of like the same. It was kind of like the same thing. It's great. Yeah. That was back in the days when we used to play records, and that was great. She says to me, she says, send me the clip of the interview, and I'll get it to all my socials. I was like, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right.
No
problem.
One of our guests yesterday asked who they should contact to get a clip of their segment yesterday. I said, here's a link to Facebook. Cue it up to your segment and record it.
Right. Right. Yeah, we have all that stuff. You could have given them my email if they wanted, and I can get it for them. It's no problem. But no, that's great. All right. Rick is there, and we'll be coming back in as soon as we're done with the news here, okay?
All right, sounds good.
Technology. The plans come as the tech giant searches.
Take care, Mark. Thanks for stopping in.
Stream.
Mike, appreciate the
Sales of
information.
flagship
We'll pass it
iPhone
along.
are slowing.
Morning, Patrick.
Carmen Roberts, Fox News.
Paul Samaswamy is the best. Mick McCabe's awesome.
Taking a look at our world markets this morning. Overseas, China Nikkei down. London is up this hour. Dow futures are down. The world market update sponsored by Mother Waddles. Help the poorest of the poor. Donate your car to Mother Waddles. Call 313-WADDLES. For WJR News, I'm Marie Osborne. More with Kevin Dietz in for Paul W. in a moment.
Hi, this is Guy Gordon. More people are facing hardship this year, and the need to serve those most vulnerable is greater than ever. The Salvation Army provides critical social services, giving families a hand up, not a handout. Your $25 monthly gift to the Salvation Army of Metro Detroit will help provide food, clothing, shelter, and compassion. Give today at salmish.org or text GIFT to 24365.
Today, Daryl fixed his fence, cut the grass, and changed the kitty litter. But he also saved $25 because Daryl uses a new innovation from Huntington called Money Scout. It analyzes his checking account to find money that's not being used and moves it to his savings automatically. Learn more and enroll at huntington.com/moneyscout. Huntington, welcome. Message and data rates may apply to text alerts. Money Scout is subject to eligibility, terms and conditions, and other account agreements. Member FDIC.
With all the giving you do during the holidays, wouldn't it be nice to experience something that gives back to you? Visit Lincoln of Troy and experience the feeling you get in a new Lincoln. With the thoughtfully designed and personally crafted features, there's no better way to celebrate the holidays and ring in 2021. The Lincoln Wish List sales event is here. Now when you stop by Lincoln of Troy, you'll find our best offers of the season and experience yourself the power of sanctuary.
This year, Michigan businesses have had to adapt. And the Michigan Economic Development Corporation was right there alongside them, helping to connect businesses to new resources, meet new partners, and access the additional capital they needed right from the start. If your business needs support to reach its new potential, the MEDC is available to help in any way we can. Contact us today for customized business assistance at michiganbusiness.org/partnership.
Now back to more Paul W. Smith on WJR. Once again substituting, here's Kevin Dietz.
Well, it is officially college football bowl season. A lot of people thought it would never happen, me included. And a lot of people worked really hard in very uncertain times to make it possible. To give us some perspective this morning is Rick Chris, the former commissioner of the Mid-American Conference and vice president of Dietz Sports and Entertainment. Rick, thanks for being on the show.
Yeah.
So, Rick, give us an idea of what kind of things have been going on behind the scenes for commissioners of the various conferences this year as it pertains to COVID in bowl games.
Yeah, Kevin, like every other part of our society, pick your word, unprecedented and truly hourly changes. And I think you saw for sure sort of the differences in our country politically and otherwise play out in the college football season, including the bowls. So every conference had its own rhythm. Some played close to full schedule of 12 games. Others, particularly in the Midwest, much shorter season, and out west. And now we get to a bowl season that has had 16 bowls postponed to next year, 22 plus teams opting out of bowls, 8 teams playing and losing records. But honestly, for the ones that are playing, it's a chance to play another football game. And for coaches and players, what they've gone through to just get on the field because they love playing is pretty remarkable. So it started yesterday and will run through January 11th. We think anyway, and people can fill out their pools and hopefully celebrate what we like about college football.
Yeah, the MVPs of the football staff, football season may be the medical staff this year. What an effort they've put out there. The bowl game has got to be the highlight for most programs. So why do you think some schools are opting out this year? Is it all safety of the kids, or is it just?
Yeah, I think my sense is, and everyone's got a little different dynamic, but it's been such a long haul. If you really date back to, what was that, March 11th, some people had just started their spring practices, others just getting ready. And really since that day, the uncertainty, and again, everyone's living it. So it's not that, that college football is different in that regard, but I think it's been a real grind for a lot of people, and for some kids, I think the chance to maybe just put 2020 sort of on the shelf now is where they were at. But others, and I know for the teams that are playing, it's a chance to be together for one more game. It won't be the traditional bowl experience in a lot of these communities just because of COVID. It'll be more, get in the day or two before the game and then out right after. But still a chance to play another football game.
Yeah, in the beginning of the season, when some conferences were announcing that they might not play at all, a lot of the players, a lot of the kids, went public and said, we want to play. We really want to play. Is there a sense that the kids want to go to the bowl games and have this experience? And how important is that for a senior to be able to go to a bowl game?
Yeah, I really think for most of these teams and most of these programs, and Kevin, you saw it in the high schools. These high school kids, they want to play, and their parents are wanting them to be part of something positive. And we tend to focus probably media-wise and maybe as fans on sort of that elite 1%. But for the majority of the people playing the sport, it's because they love it, and it's not about how they're going to monetize it in the future. It's for their experience. So for sure, seniors, their last run at it, although at least in college, everyone who played this year has got another year of eligibility. No one got dinged for that. And for the team, you don't get the 2020 season back for a team, and you just never know what you have in the future. So I think they play for each other. It's a great experience. It's what they've lived to do and trained to do, and generally, I mean, I'm a fan, and I'm a believer in most of the good things that college sports can do.
When you look at the business side of things, you have it's very expensive to put on a bowl game, and sponsors pay those bills for the most part. And here you have the possibilities of cancellations, on day of games. Who knows what's going to happen? How is that? What's going on behind the scenes?
You really work closely within your community, and certainly here in Detroit, the Ford family and the Lions have done such a great job with the Quick Lane Bowl and the history of college football in Detroit. And so disappointing that we won't be able to play that game this year. But for the ones that are putting on the game, you work with your sponsors. Communication is so key, Kevin. So you're just trying to frame a new reality, and it can change. Your TV partners are part of it. Your local sponsors are part of it. The teams and the conferences are part of it. And I think everyone's mentality is try to not have someone take a huge hit on it. You try to spread the pain financially as much as you can.
So this year, just sit back, enjoy the fact that there are games, and enjoy some football, and then we'll get ready for next year.
Absolutely. And I think we'll be crowning a champion, and for everyone playing, for all 58 teams that are playing, it'll be a special thing.
And the one thing that won't change is we'll all be able to argue over who should have been in and who didn't get in and who the real champion is and all of that.
College sports is here for you, Kevin. No doubt about it.
Rick, Chris, thanks for being on the Paul W. Smith Show today.
Yeah, enjoyed it. Thanks.
All right, Merry Christmas. We'll take a quick break here on the show to check traffic and weather with Rich Luzinski.
This report is sponsored by BetterHelp.com. Is there something interfering with your happiness? BetterHelp wants you to start living a happier life today. BetterHelp will match you with your own licensed professional therapist. And right now, get 15% off your first month. Visit BetterHelp.com/feelhappy for 15% off your first month.
WJR Traffic First is sponsored by Chris Furniture. Chris Furniture wishes everyone a joyful holiday with family and friends. They are grateful to be celebrating the joys of Christmas, the birth of Jesus Christ. Chris Furniture wishes all a blessed, peaceful, and joyous holiday. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. The I-94 westbound ramp to Mount Elliott is closed due to construction. That's through early March. And your right lane is closed on I-75 southbound between Grand Boulevard and I-94. No accidents at the moment. Now WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel. Here's your forecast.
Cloudy out there this morning. After lunchtime, scattered snow showers expected to move through. We could see some rain mix in before they taper off into the evening hours. Middle to upper 30s this afternoon, 32 tonight. Sunshine mixing in with the clouds tomorrow, upper 30s. Partly sunny, upper 40s Wednesday. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ken Boone on News Talk 760 WJR.
Every day we face new changes and challenges. Sometimes it's hard to just keep up. If you need a hand with your energy bill, Consumers Energy is here to help with flexible payment options. They also have programs to lower your energy use and monthly bill. For more information, visit consumersenergy.com/assist.
Did you see the note I sent you in the private chat?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So I'll be back after the last segment here to say goodbye.
All right, sounds good.
All right.
Wild here to encourage you to shop local now more than ever. As we all know, things are a little different this year, and our local businesses could really use your help. For years, we've relied on them to sponsor our kids' hockey teams, volunteer with our nonprofits, and support our community programs. Now it's our turn to support them. Maybe buy a gift card or take advantage of curbside pickup and help keep the local economy going. So shop local and shop Westland. We really do have everything you want and everything you need.
Now's the time to get a great deal on select Kubota subcompact and compact tractors. Our reliable #1 selling tractors are designed for easy operation and feature all the performance-matched attachments needed to tackle any job. Right now, get 0 down and 0% APR for 84 months and save up to $1,700, plus no payments for 90 days. Now through December 31st. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Visit GoKubota.com for a dealer near you.
Guy Gordon here to deliver holiday greetings from our friends at the Capitol Grill. Allow them to prepare a holiday 3-course dinner featuring roasted whole tenderloin, cut daily by their in-house butcher and paired with your choice of butter-poached lobster tails or shrimp scampi with white wine and garlic. Available family style to serve 4 to 6. They invite you to pair this exclusive menu with one of our celebrated wines or signature Stoli Doli for a holiday toast. Ready to simply warm, serve, and enjoy. Availability is limited, so pre-order today. If you're looking for a great idea for someone on your gift list, consider a Capitol Grill gift card. Purchases of $500 or more will receive 10% in bonus gift cards, as well as 4 perfectly balanced steak knives. Capitol Grill gift cards have no restrictions and never expire. Call 248-649-5300 or go online at thecapitolgrill.com. Happy holidays and brighter days ahead from the Capitol Grill.
It's a new day, a day of winning big at Soaring Eagle. It's the $100,000 Stuff Your Stockings with Cash every Saturday in December. Each week, one lucky player will take home $10,000. New winners every hour starting at 6 p.m. and at 11 p.m. It's the $100,000 Stuff Your Stockings with Cash, only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com for complete rules and details.
December 31st is only 9 days away. This is Rick Frazier from Mother Waddles, reminding you that time is running out to donate your car to Mother Waddles for that valuable year-end tax deduction. When you donate your car to Mother Waddles, you're helping to feed, clothe, and shelter Detroit's poorest of the poor. And remember, Mother Waddles is Detroit's oldest and largest car donation program. So if you're thinking about donating your car, go with the leader. Donate your car to Mother Waddles. Your car donation to Mother Waddles can change a life. Plus, we will pick it up for free and in a timely manner. And folks, when you donate your car to Mother Waddles, you are providing hope to the hopeless. So simply call Mother Waddles at 313-WADDLES or donate your car online at motherwaddles.org. That number again, to give back to those in need, is 313-WADDLES. That's 313-WADDLES. Mother Waddles, a name you can trust.
Now back to more Paul W. Smith on WJR. Once again substituting, here's Kevin Dietz.
The staff of a Toledo restaurant got into the holiday spirit, leaving a $5,600 tip. The diner, who wishes to remain anonymous, left the generous tip at the Souk Mediterranean Kitchen. And they did this in a way where they left on the note that they wanted $200 to go to each of the restaurant's 28 staffers. And they just wanted to kind of let them know that they understand that these are tough times and that people are going through a lot right now. And they had $5,600 they could afford to leave as a tip, and they did. And I just think it's a great story. And joining us is Marie Osborne. Marie, how are you?
And going well this morning, Kevin. And really, those stories really make the day, don't they?
They just do to me. And I was a couple of reasons. One, this was for the employees, but just getting out and going to local restaurants to try and keep them open. I know that every week more restaurants are closing down permanently, and doing little things, making little decisions can make the difference between if a restaurant is there or not. And in this case, they talked to the owner of the restaurant and he said, look, some of his employees have said they could not afford Christmas trees this year. They were, struggling to get a gift or two for the kids, and all of a sudden, $200 comes in, and that's that's a big deal.
It can be so meaningful. And he could put a nice meal on the table for a large family or get that little gift. Those stories really, really do inspire so many people, inspire all of us really to try to do better and be better. Very good story.
I was wondering, are you one of those people that will pay it forward at the holidays at the drive-through?
I've never had that happen to me, and I've not done that, but I have, I have done other things. This year, we made a commitment to buy every Christmas present at a local small business.
Nice.
And we did all except one, which was a small business in another state, a female-owned business in another state, because the person who was getting it wanted this certain something. So we did that. But otherwise, including the Christmas cards, they came from Signal Return, which is in Eastern Market. And they do beautiful cards there and typesetting there. And so everything we did locally. And then we, talking about restaurant workers, it's a topic that's very near and dear to my heart, of course. And this few weeks ago, we invited the Slows to Go company to come to our driveway. They brought out take and bake meals, and everyone in our subdivision got an email a couple of weeks earlier saying that if you want to order these take and bake meals, they would bring them right here to the neighborhood, and then you'd come by and pick them up during a designated time. And just so everybody knows, you can do this yourself. You can call Slows to Go or Slows, or you can do manager at Slows to Go to inquire about take and bake meals and arrange something like this in your subdivision. And we had more than 30 families come to pick up meals. And it was just the funnest thing on a Friday afternoon that, everybody came, and a lot of people came with their kids. And one dad said to us, "We're having movie night tonight. We're having Slows. It's so great." And now there are other restaurants in the area that are also doing similar things. So, inquire if you have a favorite restaurant to say, "Hey, would you be willing to come to our subdivision and organize something like this?" But Slows already has established a protocol to do this, and it's very successful.
Talk about turning lemons into lemonade. That's
Yeah,
a great
plus
story.
it was just a fun thing to do on a Friday night, right?
Yeah,
So it
for
was
sure.
just a win-win all the way around. So maybe you can't leave a $5,000 tip, but there's just other little things that people can do to really make a big impact.
So I've been watching the delivery people. Every day it seems
Oh
everybody
my
orders
gosh.
everything online, and they come
Ugh.
day and day. But our postal worker comes and he has more boxes than ever before, and I think they deliver for Amazon on the weekends, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, we live up a little bit of a hill. The driveway's, where our house is just a little bit higher, and he trudges up day after day and brings the packages to the door because they don't fit in the mailbox. And so yesterday I quickly we grabbed a Christmas card and put some money in it and wished him a Merry Christmas and gave it to him. And then I got to thinking, well, the garbage guy comes today. What is the etiquette on giving gifts to the
Well,
garbage?
my husband's big on the garbage guys, so he already took care of them last week. But he runs out, and when they're here, when they come by, ours is Friday. Our garbage day is on a Friday, and so they were already taken care of. But yeah, if you really stop and think of the people who've kept you going during these last 9 months, and those are the delivery people, the garbage people, all of those people. Really, you kind of need to remember them.
Yeah, I know. It's in this year particularly, especially if you can. I know it's tough for everybody. A lot of people, it's very difficult. But it doesn't have to be a lot. It doesn't actually even have to be money. But just little things of going and stopping people and telling them that you appreciate them.
Yeah.
It just goes a long way. And this year especially, I think it's really important to let people know, that you appreciate them being a part of your community and a part of your life.
And frankly, we wouldn't have been able to make it through. I mean, those of us that are lucky enough to work from home, you're safe inside, safe, number one, health wise, and you're comfortable and you've got everything at your fingertips. And you really do have to stop and realize that so many people have had to work in this, and they haven't been so comfortable. And really, they've been putting themselves in harm's way every single day to help make your life easier. So.
Yeah, and I read this story about this retired Army veteran in Desert Springs, California, and he's like a woodworker, and he's been bored, and so he's been making toys in the garage, and to pass the time, and he's been making these wood toys, and then has now been donating them to local missions and families, and just helping people, and that's just taking a skill you have and being able to turn it into something that can make a difference, a big difference, for somebody.
And have some fun along the way, right?
Exactly. I think it's good. All good stuff. We end on a happy note, on a high note.
Same.
All right, Marie, thanks so much for jumping in here. The Frank Beckman Show is next. You'll want to stick around for that. Steve Courtney's in tomorrow for Paul W., and then we get into the holiday show. So I appreciated you listening in the last couple of days. It's been a lot of fun. Right now, we're going to check traffic and weather with Rich Lazinski.
This report is...
All right, Kev.
All right, my man. Thanks for all your help.
Thank you.
Made it easy on me. You didn't get me any free gifts this week, though.
What's that?
I said you didn't get me any free gifts this week.
Nope, no free gifts that came late for you. Have a Merry Christmas.
And everybody who's listening, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to everybody. We appreciate you coming on. And I think I'm gonna start encouraging these our Facebook friends to pop questions on for our guests that we have, so that they can be part of getting questions into the various guests, and
cool.
get everybody more involved in the new year. We're doing some stuff. We're doing Mitch Albom show.
Yeah.
The whole first week of January 4th to the 9th or whatever it is.
I'll probably see you then. Yep.
So if you guys are getting up early in the morning, you'll have to sleep in and catch us from 5 to 7 on the week of the 4th. All right, guys, great seeing everybody, and have a Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
See you guys.